For a limited time, get $150 off when you enroll today. No gimmicks, just coaching, accountability, and a community that pushes you to win. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Visit fxblincoln.com and start your strongest year yet at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping. 2 locations, South 40th and Yankee Hill, North 70th and Vine. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, changing lives 10 weeks at a time.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour 1 of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, it is. It is Old School on a Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Welcome to the show. Austin Orman here. Jay Foreman there with you for the next 3 hours to take you up till 6 o'clock. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of the show. Should be a busy one. We will roll through it today, and you can roll through your drive wherever it is you want to go, thanks to Graham Tire Company. They're celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire getting you to the places that matter most. Jay, the place that matters most to DeMond Williams Jr. right now is not the University of Washington.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I know Coach Jed pretty well, and it's just part of the game right now. You just never know. Obviously, all signs are pointing towards him going to LSU. Probably had a pretty sweet deal at University of Washington, and it seems like LSU, supposedly what everybody's saying, that they're up $5 or $6 million. So it's extra, if he was at 4 at Washington, he's at 6. I mean, you can't blame him. Everybody's screaming loyalty and all this other stuff. That doesn't happen. I mean, there's coaches that do that all the time. Coaches assign an extension and then go to a bigger, better situation or college. That's part of the business right now. There's no regulation. And, should another coach call like another guy that's already signed, sealed, and delivered? I'd like to think that they had some honor among Steve, but
Mhm.
obviously there's not.
There's a lot to get into just from those first, few sentences you said. Number one, it's just part of the game. But is it? But should it be? I mean, whether or not it shouldn't be.
There's no way it should be like this right now. It's the supposed adults' fault from decades and was it in quarter centuries or whatever. I mean, they should have been paying players even back before I even played something, a stipend or extra stipend, and all.
3 years before Jay Foreman started playing college football, they should have started paying players.
They should have been doing it back in like this 80s or something when it started to kind of blow up. They chose not to. And then you get there and it's a free for all. There's rules to be made. They didn't have the infrastructure for it, and there's no way you're trying. I get it. You want it to be like the NFL, free agency, and all that, right? That's great. There's no union. There's no collective. The universities don't want that type of obligation, right?
No.
I mean, there's lawsuits with the universities now with volunteer coaches that should have been paid. That's out there. They don't want to carry up 125 guys on insurance, or at least 100. So unless they decide to say, okay, this is a 2-year cap, and you're gonna have a rookie cap, and you might have it by position. The most you can play a quarterback, just say the most you can pay a quarterback, no matter who he is $400,000. Period.
Mhm.
Right? And then have a high end and low end, and then you just build your roster off of that. And then after then potentially you could sign them through. It's kind of like when I got drafted, I was on my rookie deal. Then you had a 10-year tender deal, not the one that people think it's called tender. It's kind of like in the what do they do in baseball, Austin? Where they do the arbitration, right?
Yeah.
So it's all based on your tender or your tenure, your output as far as production, and what year you are in the league.
Mhm.
And that's what we went to in my 4th year. So you could either get a new contract, play on that tender, and then obviously you'd be a straight up free agent after that.
Yeah.
So if they can kind of maybe get that into the college, it'll be a little bit more slow motion. But you got guys out there. You got to think Lane Kiffin right now. He struck out on Trinidad Chambers, right? That's without a doubt. Obviously, that's just out there.
Mhm.
When you think about it, why did Ole Miss want you gone? It wasn't because they didn't want you to coach. They just wanted your ethics gone.
Yeah.
Because you have none, right? Or displayed into their mind, you have none.
Questionable at best.
Well, you tried to recruit Quan Lacey. You tried to recruit Chambliss, and so that then you had plethora of quarterbacks in there. I mean, every quarterback possible out there except for Dylan.
Yeah.
Has been down there.
I mean, you're sitting with Sam Levitt at the basketball game when this news about DeMond Williams breaks yesterday.
Right. So essentially, I wonder what happened. I wonder what Sam Levitt is doing.
He's visiting Tennessee is what he's doing right now.
Okay. That's fine. But you're the number one prospect at quarterback coming into the portal season.
Mm-hmm.
You should have had your deal done. Now, I think your agent could be overshooting the runway and thinking like we can keep driving the market up. Nothing's set in stone. What's going to happen at LSU with Williams and or Levitt? If you go to Tennessee, dude, you got to make a decision. Like at some point in time, you got to go somewhere and play quarterback.
Yeah,
it's a very quarterback friendly system. You probably can dictate and not dictate, but yeah, you can dictate about what you're going to do offensively. But they still have old buddy that came over from UCLA back. So
yeah, Joey Aguilar.
Yeah, you got to worry about that. And then Alabama has the opening now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily know. When I look at Simpson, he's probably a little bit. I mean, do you agree he's probably a little bit more mobile than Dylan?
Oh yeah, okay. Without a doubt.
Yeah, because he was a good basketball player.
Yeah.
He was a really good athlete. Well, Dylan was a great baseball player, but a basketball kind of.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, well, if I'm Dylan, it's still Oregon, Miami. I'm definitely going to call down if Sam Levitt's at Tennessee, I'm calling Tennessee and Bama. But at some point that you got to make a decision here. So we're at January 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock Eastern time. It's basically Thursday.
Bro, classes start next week.
Something like that. Yeah.
What are you waiting on?
Especially if you're the number one guy. You can only drive your market so far before people say, okay, he's just playing us. It's not worth the call.
And he'll get somewhere. I mean, maybe Tennessee is a place to be. But I just wonder how is it? I mean, because don't think that he won't call up to Oregon.
Right.
So these musical chairs, man, sometimes you could just be sitting and waiting. You just need to, I mean, I wonder what's the holdup with Dylan? Because I don't know if he's been anywhere.
Well, it's got to be either Oregon or Miami's the holdup at this point, right? Waiting for their seasons to be done.
Okay. Well,
and they asked him to hold off on announcing?
Why would you? I mean, Indiana signed their portal classes like in.
I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with an explanation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Come
I'm
up with
just talking in the air.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying, why would you? Why would you care, right? And maybe, okay, the game's Thursday. You know, Miami plays tomorrow.
Yeah,
but see, Miami and Oregon are in two different places. Carson Beck has no more eligibility left.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Moore still has a decision to make.
Mm-hmm. What are the odds that decision's been made but not announced?
I'd like to think with a prospect like Dante Moore, knowing that Simpson went out, knowing that you're the surefire number 2, and you probably, when he interviews and you really look how he throws the ball and the ability to run, I could see him going ahead of Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against Mendoza. When you look at production and you look against like opponents, you'll start to teeter towards
Dante Moore.
So you're going top
5 at the worst.
Top 6.
Sure.
I mean, Raiders,
Jets.
I'm sure who
Titans are clear.
Cleveland is Cleveland up there.
It's Cleveland, of course.
Right. Arizona. There's teams that'll trade up for you.
Yeah, Arizona's going to be down Kyler, probably. So, you have the first 18 picks being set. Vegas, the Jets, the Cardinals, Titans, the Giants, and the Browns at number 6.
Okay, so there's 5 teams.
So 1, 2, 3, 6.
Well, hold on. So, number 1, they needed Jets and the Raiders.
Yep. Arizona, if they move from Kyler.
That's most likely. And they can draft a quarterback even if they're going to keep Kyler
him.
for a year.
Sure.
So
Tennessee's got Cam Ward. They're good.
That's good.
Giants have Jackson Dart. Probably good.
Probably. But that slot is ripened for when we get past number 6.
Someone's trade up.
So Cleveland for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
Because they're going to have a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to want to, whether he's going to want it to come in and battle with Shador or whoever.
Yeah.
So who's after that?
Washington is at number 7.
Nope.
They're set. New Orleans at number 8.
They're set. They just said they're set.
I doubt the Chiefs would take a quarterback at number 9.
They don't need what they need. Everything else. Yeah.
Bengals at 10.
No, but that's a tricky situation.
Sneaky.
Cryptic messages by Joe Shiesty. He's looking to get out of there.
Miami at 11.
For sure.
Okay. Sneaky trade up to number 5 team or number 6 team?
Is depending on who's the coach,
mm-hmm.
what the contract situation is with Tua, and how bad or how much is the deal that the coach comes there that he'll coach Tua for a year, but I'm going to draft somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you draft a Simpson.
Yeah.
Is a starter in waiting.
Here's the spot for him. I mean, Dallas is set with Dak at this point. Number 13, the Rams.
Yeah, with Stafford.
Toward the end of the line in two firsts in 26.
Yeah, and Dak, but I don't think they have they probably need to address some other things. And who's after that?
After the Rams, it's the Ravens, who made their choice. We'll talk about that coming up at 4. Tampa at 15.
No.
Sneaky
right.
sit guy for Simpson.
Yeah, but that'd be, I mean, with the way the Tampa's played, it's probably not.
Yeah. Then Detroit and Minnesota.
Minnesota.
On the sneak.
Yeah, Minnesota. If I'm Minnesota, I'm trading J.J. McCarthy, a draft pick, and I'm getting up there where the guy that I actually want. I've seen enough. Now you got to bring Justin Jefferson. I think J.J.
It'd be pretty cold-blooded for a guy like O'Connell to say, organizations fail young quarterbacks long before young quarterbacks fail organizations to cut ties like that. It'd be cutthroat from a guy that's on record as saying that.
Yeah, when you got that record that you got, brother, you do about face sometimes. I do. I mean, I think J.J. McCarthy could be good. I don't think he was as good as where they drafted him. So you overextended yourself. Now, what do you do? Now, if you want J.J. McCarthy to be in your franchise and you're the head coach, then you're going to have to sign somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you take a 1-year flyer and make a trade for a Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
You guys battle out, you'll learn, and then you're still right on your pace for a free agency and get a big deal because that'd be your 4th year. because you don't want, because that's how you get fired when you're a GM, and we saw that with obviously Raheem Morris and them, is like when you make that wrong move at quarterback, you're tied to him. You're not like Chris Ballard, where you're constantly just being. I mean, whatever he has on whoever's at the powers that be. No bit. But now let's get back on task. Now, back on task to this with Williams. You know, Washington's trying to fight it. I saw where Washington might be trying to get the quarterback from Arizona.
Fafita?
Who played for Jed. But Jed had obviously recruited Williams.
So I didn't know this till reading about it today. Lane Kiffin actually had DeMond Williams' commitment before Williams decommitted, went to Arizona with Jed Fish, and then followed him up to Washington.
Yeah,
so that's where the LSU connection.
Yeah, so there is a longer history there, and that's what happens when you recruit these. Look, when you recruit these quarterbacks, if you miss out on the first time, chances are you're going to get a phone call with them and their agent the second and third time.
Yeah.
And so very rarely does a quarterback stay at one place for 4 or 5 years or for 4 years.
Yeah. Doesn't happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll be, I mean, but, you know, when you think about Dylan,
someone asked if he would go to LSU. I don't think it fits.
It could fit. It could fit.
With what Lane's been doing?
Well, think about what Lane did at Alabama. AJ McCarron and all them.
When was Lane at? Who were Lane's quarterbacks?
Blake Sims, who's more like Chambliss, but it's still Blake Sims threw the ball, right? It was Blake Sims.
I'm trying to look this up because so Lane was at Alabama from 2014 to 2016.
So it was Blake Sims, right?
That's what I'm trying to figure out here. I thought Lane's guys at Alabama were more mobile. Certainly, he's leaned that way
so Blake
since he
Sims
left. Okay, so 2014, Alabama lost in the Sugar Bowl. It was Blake Sims and Jake Coker. 2015 is when
there's two opposite quarterbacks there.
Yeah. Then it was Jake Coker. Yeah. And then 2016, Lane's last year at Alabama, it was Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So, okay, I guess it could work.
It could work. I mean, I think Lane's a good enough play caller. It could work. I think he would probably do some good for Dylan. I mean, because he coaches him hard, and he would, Dylan would need that, But I mean, you're playing at LSU. You're not going to be doing much scrambling.
No.
I mean, maybe it's easy. I mean, I'm assuming just, just knowing Dom and just, I'm sure they got something on the hook already, and just kind of just waiting, and they need to wait to. I mean, heck, the linebacker. Fries from that he had to wait for his Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
Remember you saw that where they wanted you to wait, and obviously with the coaching staff. So I mean, maybe they want to do that, and I guess say he decides to go to one of those schools. You don't want to be a distraction for the game, and I do understand that. So that's where it probably lines up with. But that Sam Levitt can be sneaky though.
Lane Kiffin throwing a wrench into everything yet again. He's good at that. Congratulations to him for that. We'll see what actually happens with DeMond Williams Jr. because Jay, I think that. If this goes the way I would guess the general college football populace wants it to go, is that Washington wins this fight, right? That because he signed the deal, Washington is not obligated to enter his name into the transfer portal. They seem like they're not going to do that. They're obviously fighting it in some similar ways. They think they have more of a leg to stand on compared to, say, Wisconsin, when that Xavier Lucas guy transferred from Wisconsin to Miami after signing his 2-year deal. But then, Jay, I could see this going, one of two ways for Washington. Either he realizes, DeMond Williams Jr., that is, that he made a mistake. Oh, shoot, my bad. I was chasing money. Nope, my heart's with you guys, and I'm going to ball out, right? I wasn't grateful for what I had. I am now. My eyes have been opened, and that's that, if he's not allowed to transfer. The other option is we get our first major college football holdout, right? And this is where the main difference between the
can't do that.
Just hear me out.
I can hear you out, but I was like, DeMond, you can't do that.
I know, but he has options, which I'll get to. So that's a big difference too between college and the NFL. Is that in the NFL, you'll take your time, weigh your options, sign your contract, and then you're good. You're not getting poached. You're getting traded. You got to hope you get cut or whatever, right? In the NBA, you got to hope you get traded. You sign the deal, honor it, play it out, so be it. But let's say that Washington continues to block DeMond Williams Jr.'s transfer. The NCAA allows them to block the transfer because Washington can prove that, they're legitimate damages there. Well, let's just say that happens. Well, if you're DeMond Williams, number one, you stay on the team and you hold out like, hey, I'm clearly the best option you have. Are you going to give in and pay me or play me because I'm still here? Or number two, you don't have to wait for coach to cut you. You can unenroll.
Okay.
But then the question becomes, what kind of contract did you sign? Washington says it's a very, very standard Big Ten style contract, and that's still up in the air whether or not he signed his, NIL licensing over to the University of Washington by signing this contract. Because if that's the case, then LSU wouldn't be able to find a way to pay for it. They have to get really creative. But if he just signed a general contract without that NIL sort of agreement to it, okay, well, his name, image, likeness are out there, so he can be out there.
Right.
I mean, if you're Washington, is it worth keeping this young man on the team if he's going to throw a fit? Is it worth wasting a roster spot? I mean, how much money did you pay him up front versus, coming later? I can understand where Washington would just, want to cut their losses and say, we can't deal with this. This is a distraction. We can't have this. It's going to look like you won, but it's going to be better for us if we just let you go. Or is it worth it for Washington to be the team that makes a stink, that takes a stand and says, no, you signed your contract. You have to play, or even you have to at least be on the team. If you're going to be a pain in our butt, we don't have to play you, even if you're our most talented guy, and that's going to hurt. I just don't know if this is a holdout situation, how that would go for either side.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, one, you want to stand your ground because, you don't want to be the one that gets, like, on the flip side, you don't want to be the one that is the benchmark for, universities and football programs that get, I wouldn't say bullied, but get generally just on Front Street getting taken advantage of. Okay, I got you. I'm signed, sealed, and delivered. But then now I'm going to take what I have in a true agreement to somebody else, or be open for business.
Yeah.
But then you're like, okay, well, do you want a guy on your team that would flip on you that quick at such a crucial position,
right?
Which is quarterback. And then if it gets into a legal battle, okay, do you want to be known as that university to do that, or football program to do that? It's tricky. I think here's what I think. I think if you gave him some upfront money, like a signing bonus, okay, he has to return that. That should be, you have to return that back for 100%. And then I think if there was, there should be some sort of like fee, like a transfer fee when you have a contract signed.
Yeah.
Right. And so you broke the it's like if you put like earnest money down on a house, right? You lose that.
Yeah.
Right. And so, or whatever it would be, and then just be done with it. But then the only way that you can save face and it be okay is that actually the people that are decision makers come together and think about these scenarios. And then also, I think if there is some sort of commissioner, that's where that commissioner would be dealing directly with Lane Kiffin or whoever, because it's not Washington's problem because you couldn't sign a quarterback.
Exactly.
Right.
But you made it our problem.
But doesn't mean that you get to go pluck somebody else's. There has to be some sort of lines there. And right now you can't fault Lane because there's no line that he can't cross because there are no rules. He's actually, and here's what I'll say right now. Like there's an old thing, like the old saying in sports, you want to do the right thing and all that, right? By doing it, right? And you want to, in this, negotiate and be above board, not pay underneath the table. Well, listen, you don't get an award for that.
No.
You just get patted on the back, but you get your butt kicked when you're out there in the real world. That's the honest to God truth. So you got to play a little. Look, you got to, look, man. They're the old saying you don't want to get in a pissing match with a skunk, but sometimes you got to come with enough tomato juice that it's not going to stick on you that much. That's old school. Like,
I
get the point with tomato juice. You got to get in there, and look, man. I mean, Lane is doing things because he knows any publicity for him, bad or good, is good for LSU. He's tagging, retweeting everything with Ole Miss. He's getting paid
by LSU for what Ole Miss is doing.
You can't tell him nothing. He's stealing grocery carts. He's doing whatever he wants
and supposedly returning them. Supposedly,
so, bro, you're that aloof that you're not gonna buy a grocery bag. Obviously, you're at like Whole Foods or something. Did you just walk in there oblivious? Because you weren't at like Hy-Vee, So I just think that this is going to be a huge deal. How it's handled. It's not only that though. This deal, this situation affects Levitt. It potentially could affect Dylan. It could affect all the other quarterbacks or the ones that are going to be added to depth rules. But the big names out there, hey, we passed we're past the fun. We got to get down. Like, you got to be on your agent. Okay, what are we doing? What's the deal? Because you can sit back and be ghost if I already have my stuff signed, sealed, and delivered, and I'm just waiting to push send on the tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I'm Sam Levitt, I'm getting off that plane. Look, man, I'm tired of going to these dinners. I'm tired, you negotiated your way out of like with LSU, because I think if I'm Sam Levitt, I'm not going anywhere without a contract. Like, I'm not getting on a plane without like my agent knowing, okay, this is the contract that they're offering you. You just got to go see if you like the coach, the players, and the situation.
Yeah.
You should know within an hour. Are you really going down there worrying about the city? Bro, this is your last year in college. And you're in college.
And they got your pad picked out for you.
And plus, you don't even go to class anymore. You probably do it all online. So you're just going to practice online. So if you're worried about like the city and all that,
cultural fit, whatever,
that means you just like to get recruited. And now you're here, now you're in Tennessee and stuff like that. Maybe he, trying to get more money out of LSU, and LSU. I mean, if you didn't know who you're dealing with, you think this is Lane Kiffin's first rodeo?
No.
He had Austin Simmons and go gets a two-time back-to-back national championship quarterback. That's potential going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL.
Did we say 3-time national champion quarterback?
No, they ain't winning. They ain't winning tomorrow night. Chuck said they don't got a chance.
Well, Chuck Foreman said it. That's good enough for me.
You've been right already.
He has. That came out a little more tongue-in-cheek than I meant it to. Shout out Chuck Foreman, vote him NFL Hall of Fame as always. We will go to break. Got some text from our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line to get to. We'll answer your questions and more as we continue Old School. Hour 1 brought to you, of course, by the great folks at Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska. They offer free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and lifetime warranties on everything they do while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give them a call today for more information. You can do so at 402-430-3852, or you can visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. He's Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Well, who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
If you're tired of the dieting circuit paradox but still want to look, feel, and perform better, you need to get to Nutrition Authority and ask about our nutrition coaching featuring LifeBase. LifeBase takes a complex world of nutrition and makes it simple with real results that last. Stop in to learn more or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back. This is Old School, Hour 1 of the show, brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. We're headed to our starter Heyman Jewelers text line here. Gorilla Bear says, guys, are coaches required to honor their contracts, or could whatever team wants DeMond Williams Jr. buy him out from Washington? Jay, that's, I think, is kind of what you're alluding to with the transfer fee, right? Give Washington some money in exchange for the player. But I think at this point, money is small solace to Washington. They would rather have the player than the money. Yeah. You know, maybe the money can help them go get another player, but they're happy with the honorable mention All Big Ten quarterback they had, who balled out this year and seems to continue to ascend at this point. So, okay, yeah, money, great. You're wiping your tears with, Benjamins and whatnot. But if I'm Washington, I'd rather have the player than the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but what player are you getting?
And that.
Because there will be animosity that from him that essentially you're holding him back from $2 million. So I don't know. It's interesting to see how they're going to do it. Do you really want a player that didn't want to be there? Because it's one thing to go in the portal to get the team's attention because you've earned, or the market is let you know that you deserve a pay raise. Keona Davis from last year, Emmett or whatever, right?
Yeah.
With every intention that if Nebraska, or in this case Washington, but at last year's Nebraska would, come to the table. You already had your stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't Washington's fault that you signed the contract and the market went up because of
out of nowhere
of the dominoes. And it really started with your boy Minchie. That's really what jacked it up. So
Sure.
I always blame a guy from Notre Dame. Always being selfish. But so I think that's where you have to really weigh it. And then is he the same person that you signed? And he's not the same guy anymore.
No.
And sure, in the locker room, since you're saying it's a pro, you understand you got to do what you got to do for business. And look, if you could get $2 more million, considering that he's Damon Williams is what, maybe 6 foot, 6'1", and you're trying to go to the league, and you know that's going to be your biggest deterrent. So then you can get $2 more million in college. Yeah, I would fault you for not trying to go get it, but I think Washington has to weigh, who do you have on your roster behind him? Who could you possibly get in the portal? You know, and you might have to get somebody else from another team. You have to play the same game.
Does Jed want to play that game? Or at some point, will his back be against the wall enough that whether he wants to play or not, he has to?
I don't think he wants to, but I think he can. I mean, you could think he can go pluck the kid from Arizona. And they made that's how Jed got to Washington.
That's how Jed got to Washington.
Yeah, because he was doing some work. You know, you can maybe try that route, but if you feel comfortable with what you have, you know, in the cupboard, then you just kind of just roll with that. So I don't know, man. For me, sometimes you want to teach him a lesson or teach the system a lesson, but I don't think it's at the right. This is the point, because it's not going to stop anybody, because there's nobody that you're reporting to or have the support to do so. You're just kind of fighting your own fight.
Yeah.
Against the rest of the football program.
Well, yeah, you're trying to scoop some water back into the ocean.
Yeah.
Not going to work.
Yeah. And it's salt water too. So you're going to you're going to get dry. I don't think it's going to work.
Cubsker says, what about a guy like Emmett Johnson? He entered the portal, or is rumored to be entering the portal, got his raise, came back to Nebraska and balled out. You can't expect that to happen from everyone. How would you compare the DeMond Williams situation to Emmett Johnson, Jay?
It's totally different because Emmett didn't have a contract, at least under my knowledge, and he was going in there and seeing what his market value is. I think he was getting some bad advice. He's lucky enough that he listened to cooler heads and he came back, because he almost was going somewhere to be a backup. So I think it's totally different because he was probably trying to get their attention. Dowdell left. The changing of offensive scheme, it fit Emmett. He had went on that 3-game run, showing you he could do it. He wanted to be respected or whatever in that running back room. Nebraska made it happen. It was a good investment on both ends. Emmett lived up and probably exceeded to what he got paid, and Nebraska stepped up and paid him what he could, negotiate for at that point in time with his little bit of experience.
1809 question: are you too happy with the status quo of free agency for every player every year? Is this status quo good for college football?
I think once you go somewhere, I think you have to be there for 2 years. Now, it's hard because you get the Justin Fields situation with the baseball player. You get the family stuff with the Walker that was at UNC or North Carolina. You have all those, but I think that if you can,
But pros have personal stuff come up too.
That's true. That is true.
Russell Westbrook in Utah is the one that comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
You take your family leave, your bereavement leave for a family member.
Yeah, and
it happens to the pros
issues
too.
with the old Clippers, owner, and you get all types of stuff. So I don't necessarily like all the movement after a year. I understand it. Look, these kids are getting way overpaid right now. There's no doubt about it. I'm not hating, but I always wanted everybody to get paid. But this is it's
paid, not his aid.
Yeah, this is way too much. So you can't fault them. They got to go get it when they can. Because be honest with you, majority of them. You guys want some facts here?
WTF 93.7 take it 3.
No, yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. I hear you. The 1% of the 1% is going to the NFL. The 1% of those other 1% generally stick. That's not changing. So that's why I understand it. But then also I look at it like this. I'll be willing to bet 80% of the portal is made up of kids that have been forced to go in the portal. So we're focusing on the 20%, and it's actually the 2% that's getting paid, like real paid.
Yeah.
Because you got a great prospect, right? Like here, Willis McGahee, he's still in the portal. You know what I'm saying? And you got a guy like Rod Gainey Jr. that played at Charlotte, that he's going to LSU, 6 foot 175. So, it all sometimes it doesn't add up to what your potential is and where you're at. So I don't know. I think it's either going to have to just blow up, or it's just going to be like this all the time. I think eventually you're going to be able to transfer at the middle of the year. Trade players.
Yeah. which seems crazy, but also seems like the next logical step. I'm not.
Or at least play in a bowl game.
Yeah.
In another team.
Right. I think it's frustrating for a lot of fans because, Jay, I mean, they're just not used to it in college, and there aren't the same rules or, I mean, hard rules that are written down, or even just the soft, like, norms. Here's how you conduct yourself as a professional in these settings in college. That's, who knows if that's ever gonna make it. But 1-year deals, Jay, and the pros are much different than 1-year deals in college, right? It's everyone in college signing these 1-year deals, where what's the mark of a very good player when they hit free agency? The number of years they get, or the higher price tag?
Yeah.
Right now, it's everything is a 1-year deal in college. At least it seems that way. When in pro sports, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball primarily, 1-year deals aren't for superstars.
No.
1-year deals aren't for everyone in the game. 1-year deals are for people who are coming off a down year and need to recoup some value. 1-year deals are for people that aren't getting the long-term deals they think they deserve, so they think they can prove themselves. 1-year deals are for, guys at the very start or very end of their career, just hanging on, just trying to play their way onto a roster until their next big deal. 1-year deals aren't for, a top 15 quarterback in the sport like DeMond Williams, right? In the NFL, he's getting the Sam Darnold deal, probably, or the equivalent of it in college. But we don't see player options. I mean, we don't see team options in college like we do. We don't see vesting options in college like we do in the pros. There's no reason that they can't adopt a similar format, except that they don't have the infrastructure in place.
Yeah, they don't have the players aren't unionized, and there's not structure between the leagues and obviously the whole 136. And so that's where you're at. And so it's either going to just continue to get worse, people are going to be upset, or you're just going to have to adapt and find a way to kind of deal with the changing of the ground that you're standing on as far as football goes, for the rest of your tenure as a GM, assistant GM, head coach, and all that, and go from there. It is what it is right now. I mean, it's ruining the game. But I think it's like a lot of things. There's this very small percentage of guys that are getting a ton of money. There's a lot of guys that are forced into the vortex, and everybody's chasing the 2%. When you're the 98%, you really need to start operating like that and actually be okay with maybe getting better.
But these schools and these players aren't honest with themselves about where they're at.
No. And when the recruiting now is probably less honorable than it's ever been.
Which is saying something.
And what I mean, and this is not every school, but majority of the schools, the vast majority, are lying to every single player that they're recruiting. And only ones they can't are the ones that are the 2%, the 4 and 5-star recruits, the big transfer portal guys. Those are guys you're dealing in a different. So the majority of the team is just kind of just floating. And then with the players, they're the same way. They have no loyalty to anybody. So they're going to do what they needed to do with it. They'll chase $15,000 and move halfway across or all the way across the country and not realize that you got to pay taxes. And really now you're not even saving in gas money because you're probably in a bigger city if you go to LA. So I think it's both ways. I think the players have learned from the coaches for years. They've heard about it. They'd be dumb not to take advantage of it. I mean, it's no different than I talk about with those guys that went and played over and like live golf. If I was at the end of my career and you're going to pay me like 4 times than actually I'm worth, and I practice and play less, or me being here and knowing the background of the situation here, and we won 2 national championships. It started on 95, the greatest team of all time, and somebody said, we're going to pay you 3X. I'll let a player when you see me in the street. Gone. I probably would have left the Fiesta Bowl. I was like, only way I'm coming, you got 5 in first class because I ain't never been first class.
If you had left the Fiesta Bowl, Farley wouldn't have stolen your touchdown.
That next year, yeah, you're right. I would have been up there stealing somebody else's touchdown. But, I mean, it would have been hard for me, but that's just part of where it's at. They would have been trying to pluck our roster, but there's no regulation. So you got to – I don't even know how you even go into the portal now with 8,000 people in there and know who's good.
How could you?
I mean, because
could you?
You got Damian Wilson in the second. I remember watching him against Auburn as the rush or as one of the edge guys from Missouri, and he's in the portal.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's all 1-year deals aren't. I've been on 1-year deals,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, all right, you're tenured. You know, when you start getting 1 year's deals, when you get in years 7, 8, 9, like I was, you're just trying to get on the team, and then once you're trying to turn that 1-year deal into a 2-year deal or the option, your best players are getting one. I mean, they might sign 3 years. It's 1 year.
There's really one exception that comes to mind that's public, and that's Bryce Underwood.
Yes, because he had the 4 years,
4-year deal
$10 million
with Michigan. 20, 4 and 20.
4 years, $20 million.
Oh, it was 10. That's right, because it was
10.
2.5 a year. My bad. Yeah. So 4 years, $10 million. You would think a guy like Bryce Underwood, if he hits the open market every year, he'd probably make $3 million a year at least. He could get a little bit more. But Jay, that's the other part that I don't think enough college kids realize, or they're allowed to get away with, is that part of the deal is it's a trade-off. You can do this 1-year thing, but then you're risking the instability of not knowing, of not being able to get comfortable in a place, whether it's your decision or someone else's. I think about in my beloved Kansas City Royals example, and they're not the only ones, Mikel Garcia, right? Ozzie Albies from the Braves. What do we hear about, Jay? You know, these players that come from, Latin American countries are more willing to sign sooner for more years for less money because it means more, because, they can set up their family, financially. Whereas take Bobby Witt, for example, right? Yeah, he signed the extension. He's getting plenty of money, but he's got opt-outs. You had to raise the number of years and the number of money because guess what? The money wasn't as much an object to him. And he's just the one that comes to mind. But there are always trade-offs, right? In 99% of contracts, for the normal, rank and file, you either, even rank and file all-stars or the equivalent thereof, you either get the number of years. So in college, let's say a 3 to 4 year deal for, a good chunk of money, but maybe a lower average annual value, or you can take your shot with 3 or 4 1-year deals, but there are risks and trade-offs both ways. The point is that I think we've just forgotten the fact that decisions have consequences. You got to follow through, and that it's hard to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, but the problem is, are these Generation Z or X?
I have no idea.
Yeah, whatever generation they are, they don't fear consequences. They don't respect
because they're not held accountable.
Right. So why would they? Why would they not? Why would they not? Or why would they even think that, hey, you know what? The greatest dynasty in NFL football history was probably built on job security, accountability, obligation, togetherness, teamwork, and all of them have been successful. And you got a ton of Hall of Famers coming off of that New England Patriots run.
Yeah.
Tom Brady took less money, but took longer years. Guys would take a little bit less money, but knowing that they would make the money longer.
And some of that too, Jay, is these guys think they're invincible. I mean, you've played in the NFL. You know what security means, right? To get a long-term deal like that, it's hard to do. But to know you're set up for 4 or 5 years, that's hard to come by in the NFL.
Oh yeah. It's one of the things that you constantly fight for, and you want the sign-up bonus, and you want the years and the guarantees. We see it. A lot of these players don't have to deal with that because they're coming in and they're just hired mercenaries. I'm going to go here for a year. Okay, I'm going to ball out. Then I'm going to jump back in the portal if it needs be, or if not, I know that they'll sign me back. And it's all position related, because when you look at like the position of receiver, right?
Yeah,
there hasn't been a lot of movement of the top guys yet.
No.
And so you have to be careful what when you jump in the portal. If you jump in early, it might be appealing, but it can be very, very sticky if you're not able to jump back out to where you were, and then you're stuck in there, and it could be longer than you actually wanted.
Eric, can I go in the portal? Eric, you're a knucklehead. For every day we want you in the portal, we appreciate you hanging out on our Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line. 6169 at 2280. We see your texts. Well, that's how we'll wrap up hour one of Old School, presented by Heartland of Nebraska Windows.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just got the brakes fixed on my car today.
You did? You haven't even left the office.
I didn't need to. I got a guy who picks up my car and drops it off when it's done.
Well, who's your guy?
Graham Tire. They have pickup and delivery service at all 5 of their Lincoln locations.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Way up there where the sun comes up, under the big red sky. I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour one of Old School, brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Appreciate them for everything they do making the show possible. You can check them out online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com or call for more information, 402-430-3852. Back to our starter Heman Jewelers text line. Jay, let's get to this from 6169. What would you think about the transfer portal being more of a trade portal where schools could make trade proposals to other schools so they get the player and potentially also NIL value trade?
Yeah, I mean, that's almost what you had with Kentucky and Arizona State.
UCLA and Tennessee.
Yeah. I can see it happening. And like I said, I think eventually you're going to see some in-season movement, like during bye weeks or something. I don't know. I just think it's a free-for-all right now. And every rule that they've ever had, there's a way to kind of find a loophole or just break the rule.
Yeah.
Just, and so, yeah, I like the trade thing. Majority of people won't like it because then you're like, okay, they're not assets yet. They're just young men just getting grossly overpaid. Young women and young men and young women getting grossly overpaid to play sports that generally everybody had to play for free. I could see it being an option, but I think it's more or less just I think everybody's going to know where they're at, so I think it can be behind the scenes trading.
I think so. I think there's two other aspects to this. Number one is it would take schools having similar power structures, or at least knowing who's in final control of the rosters. It's easy in pro sports because you know who the general managers are, right? They're the ones that are putting together the frameworks of these deals. They'll talk to their coaches, they'll talk to ownership, make sure everyone signs off on it. But you have the same, like 2 or 3 positions in each organization, primarily constructing these deals, right? At some places, maybe it's the head coach if Lane wants to be involved. In some cases, maybe it's the general manager if Nebraska wants to give that to Pat Stewart, for example. And what does general manager even mean in college? It's just so different there. And number 2, Jay, is when it comes to the roster limits that seem to be coming, right, and the salary cap. Well, let's take a guy like Brennan Sorsby at Texas Tech. Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports got a copy of his contract, and Brennan Sorsby wasn't going to be making anything really from revenue sharing. It was all going to be NIL. Okay, so if you trade him in this example to another school, well, what if they don't have the $3.5 million in NIL? What if they have to pay him from rev share? How does that count against the salary cap? What does that do for other people? Or you have to make the matching salary, right? In a lot of cases, especially in the salary cap sports in the NBA and the NFL, it's got to be in the ballpark, right? And there are penalties for going over. Yeah, I get guys have endorsements in the pros as well, but those carry over because they're more national in a lot of cases. But if Sorsby's getting paid, $3.5 of NIL that's outside the rev share realm, he's not going to go play for free at the school that he's traded to. And if they don't have the $3.5 million anywhere except rev share, then how does that affect other people? Are you SOL? You can't make the trade, but who's going to tell you can't make the trade?
You SOL then. Or you just going to have to eat that he's going to, or in this case, it's 25% of your rev share.
Yeah.
If you want them that bad. Or you find a way, say Texas Tech and say Sorsby had more years, really say he was a bad teammate and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, then maybe Texas Tech would eat some of that through their NIL. So to make sure you could find a trade partner. It's kind of like, how they trade, picks and cash and all that stuff for dead money and NBA and all that. You could do something like that, but they can't get to anything that you're talking about or anybody would think of, Austin, until they get their ducks in a row and how they're going to make decisions.
Yeah.
Like we can have all the suggestions. We could give you a model of how it could, how NIL and the transfer portal and salary cap, soft salary cap and trading and all that could work. We'd be better off talking to the window.
Straight up.
Because you don't know.
Provided by Heartland of Nebraska Windows, of course.
Yeah. Thank you, Heartland. They were really good when they came in. So, so there's no way out of it until they find. And I don't know if anybody wants to really step up and be on a committee like that.
Oh, at this point,
as much
a bunch
of
the people you recommend were guys that benefited from the system being the way it was.
Yeah, but they know the system better in any way it was, any better than anybody now. But I think right now they don't want to be involved in it because it's like, what's the benefit of it versus it's an honor to be an athletic director, to be on the college football playoffs committee. Mm-hmm. This isn't an honor. This is like, there's 50 things or 44 things that they've done absolutely wrong. This is a great honor for you to fix all the stupid stuff we've done as the NCAA the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Shoot, you get to untangle the entire web of problems over the last 150 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Who wants to sign up for that?
This is the way you want to
be first.
When you turn 70. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So forget all the tea times and fishing. You're just going to be, and then after you fix that, then you got to fix the ones that are in present day because they've all kind of
unintended consequences from the solutions.
Made moves based on the stuff that you fixed.
Yeah.
So you fixed 25%. They're adding 25% more on the back end. So it's a never ending race that you're not going to win.
Chasing the ghost.
Yeah.
You won't be able to catch up. I don't know how much I would even trust a guy like Nick Saban to act in the best interest of everyone. I think he's got too many coaching buddies.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's got obligations. I think he would. I think he's understanding. I think he would. Now the problem is who else?
Right. Brad from Baldwin, why can't we have college football back to the way it was before NIL? Better times. Better in some ways, absolutely. But then we're all back to complaining about SEC dominance when they're paying guys under the table, paying more and bigger. So it's like you would say, Jay, what kind of diarrhea do you want in college football? But we love the sport. We'll continue to talk about it. Plenty more coming up at 5. We'll take a short break. We'll talk John Harbaugh's firing by the Baltimore Ravens. We'll get Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald with us on the show coming up at 4:30 as well. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Just got new tires put on my car today. You did? I did see you leave the office. I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovebneb.com/tickets.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Husker Nation, conference play is here for Husker women's hoops, and we need your help. The Huskers had one of their best starts ever, completing non-conference play with a perfect 12-0 record. But Big Ten play will be a challenge, and they need to hear Husker Nation in the stands for every basket, steal, and each and every win. The road to March starts now, so don't wait. Head to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for some unforgettable matchups in PBA. Go Big Red.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Woo! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers. Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, here we go. Hour 2 of Old School. 1 hour down, 2 more to go. I'm Austin Foreman. He is Husker Hall of Famer, NFL veteran Jay Foreman. This is Old School, brought to you by the good folks over at Grant Tire. They're celebrating 75 years of serving the Midwest. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most. Jay, one last update on this DeMond Williams saga for now. Bruce Feldman is reporting that former Missouri quarterback Bo Pribula is visiting Washington today.
Well, you got to have a contingency plan.
Do you ever?
That's a different skill set. I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm Dylan, if I haven't made my decision, that's a place I'm going. Because I can tell you this right now. If you talk about a guy that can not only coach and develop quarterbacks, Jed Fish has done it. And he's done it with different types of quarterbacks. He's coached in the college. He's developed in college. He's coached in the pros. He's developed in the pros. And then obviously he's done it with guys that normally weren't high on the list as far as like Piata at Arizona. And DeMond Williams was actually in Arizona when Dylan was, when earlier in Dylan's high school career. Yeah. So he knows Dylan. Dylan knows him. You definitely leapfrog the kid from Missouri. You know, you would think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if you don't have. I think right now that's what you're going to put up numbers because you got to think. Okay, DeMond Williams is more of a runner, right? Who did he have before DeMond Williams? He had Will Rogers. Right? Who was more of a classic drop back quarterback than.
Not as good as running the short side option on 4th and goal.
Not to the boundary, and that's on Jed.
That's on Jed.
You didn't know your personnel, brother.
KYP, brother. KYP.
Or DeMond was eating a hot dog and forgot to go at the gate. Never could run a option to the boundary with a dude that got running like he got the Timberlands on.
But they did, and things have only gotten better from there. Jay, you mentioned contingency plan. What's Baltimore's contingency plan after they fired John Harbaugh? We talked about maybe the seeming discord in the organization becomes official yesterday afternoon. After 18 seasons, 180 wins, and a Super Bowl, Baltimore said, thanks, it's been fun. We'll see you later, to John Harbaugh.
Man, I can't believe it. He's been there 18 seasons. And way he came in there, he got the job. A special teams coach, never been a head coach before. He embodies the Baltimore city. The Ravens have been built to be a tough team, physical, Super Bowl winning coach, well-respected coach. 18 years, and he's only had 2 losing seasons or 3, and 2 in the last 5 years. That's tough, man. That's tough and I get it. You're mad about the loss, right? You got a rookie kicker. The kicker that was on the trajectory to go in the Hall of Fame had off the field issues. That has nothing to do with him.
No.
I know there's been, some stuff, with Lamar Jackson. Is he getting support? Is Harbaugh, really publicly, because this year is the first year he really hasn't really championed for Lamar, but Lamar's been hurt. I guess they chose between the 2-time MVP and the coach. It's going to be hard to find a coach that's going to come. Right now, when you do that, you just blown up the whole team. So just before the season, you're thinking Super Bowl. Super Bowl team. It's one of the teams that you talked about. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, revamped defense, a year 2 under Orr, offense with Todd Monken and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 6 months later, you're going to have to blow the team up. Now, when you think about Andrews, even Lamar Jackson, Stanley, who's been kind of hurt, Linderbaum, that's going to be, I think he either got paid or he's going to be up. All those guys, right? Guys on defense.
Hamilton on the defensive side is the next wave.
Right. Smith, the linebacker, who's making a ton of money. Now you're going to be now you're in you're going to be, okay, well, we normally, when you say that the Ravens have made the playoffs or you're running it back with Harbaugh, all right, yeah, I can understand. We'll bring back Raekwon Smith. He's still look, he's been a 3-time Pro Bowler and all that. Yeah, salary cap's a little high, but we'll deal with it because we know what we're going to be in the mix next year. Who you going to get to come in and do that and replicate that? That team is John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, and Baltimore.
Yeah.
All of them in lock and step. And I'm talking about the city of Baltimore. So who are you going to get to come in and come behind that?
The one name that I've heard thrown out there is Clint Kubiak so far. I thought that was my reaction as well. Okay.
Nothing against him.
No, but that's the exact reaction. That's the best you can do. It's always a questionable decision at best when you fire a guy that instantly vaults to the top of pretty much everyone else's list. And we'll get into that in just a sec. But while we're on the topic of John Harbaugh and the firing specifically, was it him or Lamar Jackson? Yeah, we had that article from a longtime Baltimore beat writer on the Ravens saying, there's some friction. Eventually, they're going to have to make a choice. So here's this from the Athletics Ravens guy. That doesn't make this the wrong decision either. Being around the team this season, it just felt like things had gone stale and the team had plateaued under Harbaugh's leadership. There was more locker room grumbling about Harbaugh and his staff than there had been in past seasons, although that certainly was a byproduct of starting 1-5 and losing far more than anyone expected. Blown leads, lack of late game execution in big games had become too commonplace. Too many instances where the Ravens got away from their identity. Certainly had a good enough roster to win the Super Bowl in 1923 and maybe 24, but didn't do that. Several reasons, but ultimately Harbaugh and his staff must bear responsibility, yada, yada. Plus the dynamic between Harbaugh, offensive coordinator Todd Monken, and star quarterback Lamar Jackson had grown awkward, particularly this season when there seemed to be weekly confusion about whether Jackson would or wouldn't practice. Harbaugh was often the buffer between Monken and Jackson, whose personalities didn't always mesh. This isn't necessarily about the Ravens picking Jackson over Harbaugh and Monken, although there are some dots to connect on that front. This is about the Ravens and their decision makers recognizing that the window to win a championship with Jackson in his prime is slowly closing, and they needed something new. A lot of words, but I think a lot of interesting information in there. And the first reporting, I think we heard it yesterday, was a lot of this came down to Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken didn't want to work together. Their personalities didn't mesh, and John Harbaugh didn't want to fire Todd Monken.
Yeah, I mean, the only experience I have that from that in an NFL setting is that, and I remember it to this day. Ralph Wilson came down. Well, I'll never forget. Walked right through 9-on-7, and I don't know how he was old as well, not dirt, but he was old then. I was like, how did you not get destroyed? Right? Stop practice, and he was older. He was like, hey, stop practice. And they wanted to get rid of Bruce DeHaven because of the Music City Miracle. Wade didn't want to fire him. John Butler didn't want to fire Wade. So
other John Butler.
Yeah, other John Butler. So Ralph Wilson fired John Butler. So coaches are going to be obligated to it. And you know what? I respect Harbaugh for it. Monken's done a really good job. I'd probably like to think Lamar Jackson, as he gets older, my age, he'd probably think, you know what, my personality probably didn't need to clash with a coach that actually helped me win 2 MVPs. And maybe it's competitiveness, and maybe it's frustration. And I'm gonna tell you, when you lose one game in the NFL, I hate to have this comparison because I got to go take care of something like this weekend. It's like a funeral. You win, you lose, you start off 1-5 when you're supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team. It's 5 times as worse. On top of you're losing games when your bell cow and one of your best players has fumble issues, which he's never had in his career.
Ever.
That's why it's such a big deal, because that's a football organization as much as anybody in the league. And you made an impulsive decision, not understanding the strife between OC, star quarterback being hurt is a byproduct of not winning. because everybody's in a better mood and has better relationships in the pros when you're winning.
If they're even 3-3, not 1-5.
Yeah, 3, because at 1-5, you're thinking we have to play mistake-free football. We got here by playing super mistake football. Now we got to play mistake-free football, handle our business, and even if we don't handle our business, or even if when we do handle our business, there's no guarantee we could possibly be in the mix because Pittsburgh had such a huge lead.
And 1-5 is 1-5.
You're pretty much already thinking about, all right, we lose one more. It's probably, all right, we got to get the U-Haul. You know what? We can see if we can break out the lease and move the family back to the main property, and then we'll just do commuting after that.
Well, and it's the difference between the Ravens moving on from John Harbaugh, who, for his time in Baltimore, Jay, darn near, scot-free, scandal-wise, right? Like you said, like part of the fabric of the organization in the city, compared to like a Nick Sirianni, right? More of a lightning rod for criticism. But guess what? The Eagles, even in their early season struggles, were 4-2?
Yeah.
Remember, if the Eagles are 3-3 or 2-4, maybe Sirianni's gone. Maybe the OC's gone. Maybe there's some other change coming. But despite the issues, they were able to paper over it and find ways to win. Baltimore didn't. Baltimore couldn't.
They found ways to lose even worse.
They did.
Like, oh, you fumbled last week? I'm going to double it this week.
Here's two. Straight up. So John Harbaugh out. Jay, let's start with the landing spot for him. Seems like he's at the top of the Giants list. They're being very aggressive in pursuing him. Sounds like there are connections as well to Miami, who has not fired Mike McDaniel, but John Harbaugh and Stephen Ross are reported to be tight. And then you have the other 5 non-Ravens open, or other 6 non-Ravens openings, including your Las Vegas, your Arizona,
and
Atlanta, Cleveland, Tennessee.
But the latest report is 7 openings, right?
Yeah.
There's 9 teams that's called his agent.
So Miami's one of them without an opening right now.
Yeah.
And that leaves 2 others then.
Okay, then. So, hey, wherever you're at, and you just got a little hot seat, it's hotter because I'm calling my agent. Hey, did the GM call him? Because you gone.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think Harbaugh ends up? Because he's coaching next year.
Yeah. I mean, as he should. I could see him at the Giants. I think because he's tough, and I think he'll tighten up everything that needs to be tightened up. The fact that Miami has such an affinity for him, even when they have a head coach, and then also, I don't know if you saw it, to where originally they were going to have McDaniel in the GM search, and then at the very minute or the very last second, they pushed him
Just
out.
yanked him. Mm-hmm.
I think that I think they can entice Harbaugh by maybe hiring somebody that he has a connection with, and you know what I mean,
right?
That where he knows that he has security, they can build the team together.
Let's him bring Monken, because Monken's obviously going to be gone.
And Monken does well. He could probably maybe do Tua some good.
Jackson Dart some good.
Yeah, Jackson Dart some good. I'm not sure if he fits Tennessee.
Doesn't not fit.
But
Tennessee.
He has a great quarterback, young quarterback. Yeah. He has experience with that. I think Monken would be great with Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Vegas, a chance to pick your quarterback.
That fits him too, though. Just imagine John Harbaugh, the coach of the Raiders. But if John Harbaugh, do you want to go in that AC West? And then he got to face his brother
twice? Shoo! Beat him for Super Bowl once.
Yeah, I don't know.
Andy Reid's on the way out. Here's the thing. If I'm the Chiefs and you don't nudge Andy Reid out, but all the turmoil, do you ask Andy about what a graceful off-ramp would look like and take your shot at Harbaugh?
I'm sure Andy would want John Harbaugh, because I think John Harbaugh coached under him.
Under Andy Reid.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Andy's not going to go, but that'd be the second hiring cycle that the Chiefs would have to trade for John Harbaugh wherever he's at.
They just fired him. Oh, so next time. Sorry.
Yeah. So they keep Reid and then say he's wherever they would have to trade
2 years,
for him.
3 years.
Yeah, trade for him.
Yeah.
I think wherever he goes, he's going to be successful. I mean, his record is 180 and 113.
Yeah.
13-11 in the postseason. So he's 193 and 124.
Mm-hmm.
61% winning percentage in the AFC North, the hardest division,
blackest and bluest division in football.
And then that's what the the Cincinnati Bengals were making the playoffs all the time under Marvin Lewis, and obviously Super Bowl run with Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow, and Pittsburgh's always there.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're in the probably for the last his tenure over the last 18 years, consistently the most productive or most competitive division in football.
Yeah. Like good competitive.
Yeah.
Like the NFC South been competitive too. But
yeah, like no, you every year those teams are going in. You have a 2-game layup against Cleveland, and that's not as much because Cleveland went to the playoffs twice under Stefanski.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how Stefanski was the number one guy until Harbaugh came. And it's amazing that I don't know. I think John Harbaugh. I think he fits New York.
The Colts wouldn't fire Steichen after everything they said, would they?
They would, but I don't think he goes there. I think he would go Miami or the Giants, and I think it's going to happen pretty quick. And I think that's why when you read the article that he pretty much pressed them, and they said he had told the staff that he has a say whether he stays or not.
Yeah.
So that lets you know, kind of like Whittingham. Oh, you going to press me a little bit? I'll at you.
Okay.
Then I just leveled up.
Thank you very much.
I don't think you're going to really level up more than.
That's still a good roster.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whoever can get there.
Who can get there?
I don't know, man. If you're Kubiak, is that where you want to go?
I mean, you let Mike McDonald walk out the door to be Seattle's head coach, which, okay, makes sense. Yeah, John Harbaugh, that's fine. Jesse Minter? Maybe,
but man, he's just been in the league just a little bit.
I know.
Maybe Greg Roman,
but you just let him go because he was the OC.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise,
Brian Dable.
If you can get him as play caller for Lamar, I don't know if I trust him as a head coach.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. You got to come in there with a strong personality, though.
Yeah,
I mean that team is built pretty. I mean, they got wily veterans. You got to come in there with. I mean,
is this the Pete Carroll rebound gig? I doubt it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, obviously, I don't think Belichick's down from Carolina and Baltimore.
No, I mean that's you're gonna have some regret. I mean, what are you gonna do? You try to get Marvin Lewis up there? I'm just saying,
Mike McCarthy?
No. He's not. First of all, he's not ready for Baltimore and that type of thing. You just need to go.
I'm just throwing out names at this point.
I mean, you got to think. Look at this roster, though. We'll do this roster before we go to break. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Bateman, right? DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, we'll say he doesn't come back, but still, you got Mark Andrews and Likely, right? Two really good tight ends, and Kohler's good. Charlie Kohler.
Yeah.
So you got three, right? Patrick Ricard. He's kind of like an offensive lineman that's made a 10-year career out of being a fullback and an extra offensive lineman. Ronnie Staley, Andrew Voorhees, he's really good. Tyler Linderbaum. The one that probably had the most struggle is Daniel
Falele from Minnesota.
And Roger Rosengarten is a potential Pro Bowler offensive right tackle. So you could probably make Carson Vincent in there, or Emory Jones, who was a high draft choice from LSU. There's not a weakness on that roster offensively. Defensively. Probably D-line needs an upgrade. Travis Jones, John Jenkins, who just got paid, Brent Urban, he's good. But Broderick Washington, who was a Pro Bowler and All-Pro last year, he was hurt very early. Same with Tavin Bryan. But then Kyle Boyanoy, baller. Raekwon Smith, baller. Trenton Simpson, baller. Draymond Jones, good. And then you got Nate Wiggins, first-round pick. Kyle Hamilton, Mr. Everything. You got Gilman, who came over. He's a hitter, a free safety. And now you got Malachi Starks as well, so he's a really good player. And Marlon Humphrey. Probably
he's fine. He's good.
He's a really good nickel, kind of like whoever's coming in doing this roster. You can't come in there talking about, we're going 2-a-days like old school and coming in there like you're a college coach. You got to really be able to manage personalities and try to find a way that you can earn their respect, and so you can get the best out of this roster, because it's still a Super Bowl worthy roster.
The enemy?
Whew. Yeah. If there's ever organization that will give him an honest interview and be there, and as long as they support him with what he needs around him, so he can be the best version, And the fact that he was with that he's with Chicago now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been successful everywhere in the NFL that he's been with Lamar. Lamar needs him. I like that. I like what you cooking, Austin.
Hey, we get there eventually.
Smell it. Yeah, we
You
like the
smell
rock.
what the rock is cooking.
We like the rock up in here.
That's what we do. We're headed to break. We'll call up Evan Blaine to the Omaha World Herald. He'll join us, talk some Husker football in the portal next.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 9th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
An emergency can happen any moment. Here's a few seconds to think about where you'd go. At CHI Health, we stand ready to care for any emergency. Our specialists provide expert care when you need it most and believe healing is more powerful when delivered with human kindness. When seconds matter, know CHI Health St. Elizabeth is accredited in stroke care and offers the region's only ER just for kids. Learn more at chihealth.com/St. Elizabeth Emergency.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyk Farm Outfitters. With the holidays behind us, our team is already looking ahead to the 2026 season. And to help you get ready, we're hosting our second annual expo at our location near Exeter, January 27th. The expo covers 8 topics that matter to your farm. We'll discuss fungicides in heavy disease environments, liquid systems for your planter and how to choose the right one, how Washington is viewing important ag topics, and much more. Don't forget to stick around afterwards for the happy hour. Check out BoykFarmOutfitters.com for more info, and we'll see you there.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker Nation, conference play is here for Husker women's hoops, and we need your help. The Huskers had one of their best starts ever, completing non-conference play with a perfect 12-0 record. But Big Ten play will be a challenge, and they need to hear Husker Nation in the stands for every basket, steal, and each and every win. The road to March starts now, so don't wait. Head to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for some unforgettable matchups in PBA. Go Big Red.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in. It is old school here, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. And normally we would head to our Allo Fiber VIP line. We can still give them a shout out, but our phone lines are acting up. But we still wanted to make sure we had our normal Wednesday conversation with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. We bring him in on stream for the first time. Evan, we haven't tried this. Are you good? Can you hear us? How are we doing?
I got you. Yeah, this is wild and wacky stuff. Let's go.
Here we go. Away we go. Speaking of wild and wacky, how about that transfer portal, eh? What do you make of, let's start with the additions for Nebraska, 7 of them in the fold so far. How do you think Nebraska's done within the first week of the transfer portal being open?
I mean, what a difference a couple of days make, right? You go from Monday when you lose Kenny Minchie in a stunning flip to Kentucky, and then Tuesday comes around and 5 players commit out of the portal, and they're trending for a couple others at this point. So I think they've done a lot of work. I would still expect that number, at least publicly, is at about 7 right now. It's probably going to double by the end of it, but you have a heck of a start. You've got, obviously, Anthony Calandria from UNLV, who, in my opinion, is probably an upgrade over Minchie just in terms of the production that he's had being a 3-year starter and what he's done at Virginia and at UNLV, leading the Rebels to 10 wins last year. He's exciting. They've started to rebuild that offensive line with, on the right tackle spot as well as guard. So they're making progress there. And, I thought they reset the linebacker position too, kind of across the spectrum. I mean, you have an established guy like Owen Chambliss, who comes over from San Diego State. You have, essentially a high school guy, more or less, and Will Hawthorne, who just redshirted at Iowa State. And, Dexter Foster as well from Oregon State, really, really toolsy guy, might have the biggest upside of the bunch. And that was a spot that they needed to add some depth to, and so they can increase their rotation ability for next year. So it's a heck of a start. I know there are a couple others. Dwayne McDougal was a productive safety at SDSU as well. And so it's fun, man. It's crazy. You never know when the commits might come. There's kind of a second wave of visitors being set up for next weekend. So we'll see where it goes from there. But I think just based on Tuesday and where things may still be headed here on a Wednesday, Nebraska's got to be pretty happy with the foundation they've laid in this portal haul.
The 2 positions you brought up primarily there were the quarterback and the linebackers. Let's jump off on that a little bit. Starting at quarterback, I agree. I think Calandria is certainly the more proven player. It seems like he's John Mateer-ish. To me, maybe a guy that transferred from Washington State to Oklahoma. Not a perfect one-to-one comp, but I see some similarities there. Evan, I was more aboard the Minchie train just because of the timeline. And I've been on board with, I think this is an evaluation year for Nebraska. Whatever wins you get are great. But with all the changes to the coaching staff and philosophically, this is a year I would have tried to put together my best team for 2027, let him play in 26, get the experience, play through it all, which is why I was aboard the Minchie train, or regardless of position, getting a lot of multi-year transfer guys. Nebraska seems to think otherwise. They go get Calandra, who's only got that 1 year. Of course, that brings into question the future of TJ Lateef. So let's start there. With Calandria being at Nebraska for 1 year, what does that do for the quarterback room in 2026 as well as 2027 and potentially 28?
Well, I mean, first of all, to your point, like Minchie was plan A for them. And in a situation like that, he could have been the guy for multiple seasons. And so I thought Nebraska pivoted to probably the next best guy that they could find in their current situation. And, to use basketball parlance, I feel like Calandria is a guy who can create his own shot. Like he's somebody who doesn't need the pocket to be perfect and somebody who doesn't need 5-star receivers. Like if it's not working for his first read or his second read, he can tuck it and run. He can improvise. He can roll out and spin cycle a defender. Like there are things, and you can watch, hours of Calandria tape from his time at Virginia and UNLV. And, probably the biggest critique on him is he has been turnover prone at times in his career. I think it was 9 interceptions, then 11, then 9 his last 3 seasons. And when you have a running quarterback, as Nebraska fans know well, that can mean more giveaways too, in terms of fumbles and potentially injury to your guy. But what he's shown, is that he's a winner. He's a gamer. You watch some interviews of him, and he's a pretty charismatic guy. I think he'll be fun for Nebraska fans to watch in a way that maybe they haven't had from their quarterback position in a couple of years. But you think about TJ Lateef and where he fits in. Like the original plan, if Dylan Raiola had stuck around, it would have been for Lateef to continue to develop even in 26 and then be in the mix for 27. And so he obviously got a chance earlier than was anticipated. Now, in some ways, this sort of resets that timeline where you get Calandria next season, Lateef, he'll battle, and who knows how the competition will turn out. But presuming he maybe gets the backup spot there, then that brings in 2027, where you've got an older, more experienced Lateef battling with a Trey Taylor, who's going to come in and be one of the more highly, touted quarterback prospects in the country. So I don't think this was like, you look at the schedule for 26 for Nebraska. I don't know that, especially in a year 4, you want to make that a developmental year at that position. I think there's a sense of urgency that they want to win now. You don't want to fall back to 5-7, even with a tougher schedule, when you bring Ohio State and Indiana and Oregon back onto the slate. So I think that was, in a lot of ways, an upgrade for what Nebraska wants to do next year. We'll see what Minchie does at Kentucky. He may turn into a very solid player. He almost beat out CJ Carr at Notre Dame, obviously. So not to knock him in any way, but it does kind of feel like Calandria fits Nebraska's more immediate needs and sets up their future quarterback, long-term to maybe be that guy in 27 or 28.
What do you think TJ Lateef is thinking right now? Maybe you've had conversations, maybe you haven't, but in this day and age, only one quarterback on the field. We know that at Nebraska, it's hard to make it through a single season without injuries at the quarterback position. So you would think, especially with Calandria being mobile, TJ Lateef would at the very least see the field. Does he strike you as a young man that's willing to stick to that original plan, even with all the twists and turns that still have him on maybe the same path to sit this year and play in 27? Or you think TJ Lateef's a guy that got a taste of how good he could be in college football, had some success, and is going to say, hey, you know what? You brought in a Mountain West Player of the Year. You're paying him. You can offer me what you want, but I think I'm going to head somewhere else and try my hand at starting.
Obviously, you never know in the portal. Anything can happen at any given time. So with that caveat, my instinct is that he would say, bring it on. He got his chance. He didn't necessarily expect to get it, but an injury opened the door down the stretch as a freshman. And, I don't know that the starts that he put out there were so good that he could confidently go into the portal and say, hey, recruit me, pay me more, give me a better opportunity than what Nebraska is doing. I think, barring a school saying, hey, we're gonna give you a big raise and give you the job, which I don't see, he's got a decent situation in Nebraska where he can still be, at this point, at the worst, the number 2 guy playing behind a guy who, like we said, is going to run around, and the potential, especially in the Big Ten, for injury is pretty high. Like the odds that Latif is the number 2 will get some kind of meaningful snaps in 2026, I think is pretty high. And so he's somebody who you talk to players around the team, they love him. He's one of the guys. He's a very popular player for them, even as a true freshman, which I think is telling and speaks to his intangibles and things like that too. So I would anticipate that he would be back, that he would be ready to press and push Calandria here in the offseason. And, you know, they are slightly different players. I think Calandria is a little bit more explosive, a little bit more embracing of the risk. At this point in his career, a little bit more of an improviser than Latif. But, you know, if I'm him, I'm saying, let's go. I'm going to learn all I can from an older guy like that and expect that at some point along the line, my team's going to need me. So I think that's probably where his head is.
If you're on stream, you see him. It's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. If you're on radio, he's with us on stream. We'll give credit to Allo for helping sponsor that as well. Evan, to the linebacker core we go here. Nebraska seemed to bring back a couple exciting young names in Vincent Shavers Jr., Dawson Merritt in the fold as well. And I thought linebacker was a position Nebraska would need to target. They agreed. I didn't think it would be quite this heavy, right? You mentioned the names. Owen Chambliss from San Diego State with a familiarity with new DC Rob Orich's scheme. Dexter Foster from Oregon State, and then also a guy like Will Hawthorne, who Nebraska was in on till the very end. He had a tough time saying no to the Huskers in his recruiting development. Went to Iowa State. That's a room I thought needed some bodies, needed some competition. I didn't see 3 coming, and I think there's 2 sides to this. Is Nebraska recruiting over Vincent Shavers and Dawson Merritt in this day and age, or is this a, hey, we see what you guys can be, but we need to raise the competition level across the team? I thought 1 or 2 guys would have been good for Nebraska. 3 seems like a lot. What do you think that linebacker room shakes out to be in a 4-2-5, where really 2 of those, top 5 guys will be on the field at any given time?
Yeah, we'll see how the schematic part of it shakes out. I think Nebraska felt like their rotational depth in 23 in Rule's first year was a lot better when you could rotate in Henrich and Reimer and John Bullock and, a couple other guys pretty reliably. And that really cut down to 3 this year when you're talking about Marquess Watson-Trent, who's exhausted his eligibility. You got Shavers, and then Javen Wright, who kind of filled that role, and he's moving on as well after 7 college seasons. So I think, they needed a little bit more athleticism in that room. They needed some more proven guys. So, there might be a situation where you only have 2 of those linebackers on the field at one time, but that might be 4 or 5 different guys over the course of a game, or if you can get the best, the freshest version of them out there, I think that could do a lot for Nebraska. So no, I don't think they're recruiting over Vincent Shavers. I think he's very much still a part of their plan. Chambliss is going to be part of it. I think Foster, given what he did at Oregon State, could play right away. And then you mentioned Merritt. He's now been in the system for a year. I'm a big Christian Jones fan long-term. I think he has what it takes to be a Big Ten linebacker. So it was just a spot that just wasn't very explosive this year. You look at the defense, and they didn't cause a lot of havoc, a lot of takeaways. And sure, a lot of that was because of the defensive line. But I also think the linebackers at that next level can be a little bit more disruptive, cause a little bit more havoc. And they're bringing in guys who have that ability. I think Chambliss in particular is incredibly valuable in the middle of that defense as a guy who knows Rob Orich's scheme well. He was a guy at San Diego State last year who said he could teach where everybody needs to be in that scheme, to the D linemen, to the safeties, everybody who's out there. So that's somebody who's very familiar with it. And I think his effect especially will probably go beyond just what you see, in terms of final statistics.
Yeah, we'll talk about the defensive line here in just a sec, but Nebraska didn't seem to have that eraser at the second level of the linebacker position. Javen Wright would make some splash plays here and there. Certainly got more consistent throughout his Nebraska tenure, but I hope that would be the case when you're in year 6 or 7 like Javen Wright was. Vincent Shavers, a couple forced fumbles, couple big hits here and there, but not certainly the same game-to-game impact like Nebraska had in 23, to your point. But on that defensive line, Evan, that's a question that we're getting pretty constantly here at the station. I'm sure you hear it as well. No recruits in, and I think the big question from people is how much of the lack of defensive line recruits out of the portal is due to Nebraska not having a full-time defensive line assistant coach, hired, named in place.
Yeah, The lack of defensive tackles in particular is definitely notable. I mean, they don't have a 300-pounder on the roster right now defensively who's played any meaningful snaps in college football. Riley Van Poppel's just off that. But whether it was guys that graduated or have left, in Keona Davis's case, like it's a very thin room right now, and they've tried. I mean, we heard today, Malcolm Elkhorn Crowder was a guy who visited last weekend out of Kansas State. He commits to SMU. Horace Lockett was a guy from UCF who visited and who decided to stay. Texas Tech snapped up Bryce Butler, who was a guy from Washington that Nebraska had its eye on. So they have been taking some swings. It hasn't happened to this point. Everyone knows that's a position that's hard to recruit out of the portal anyway. I think if you're Nebraska right now, you're kind of in you're resetting your deck a little bit, just in terms of that first wave of visitors now have gone where they've gone and they've committed, and now you're still seeing a few guys even this week enter the portal and being part of that second wave. So we'll see who they identify, and I would expect them to have some visitors this weekend. As it pertains to the defensive line coach, it's hard to say kind of what the plan is internally. Like if the coaches are telling guys, who they are planning to hire, or if that's still a situation that's a little bit more fluid and they don't know who that is. But there's no question, like not having that guy at least publicly established doesn't help your case when you're talking about, selling these guys on a vision and starting to build that relationship. So, Matt Rule has said before with these kind of things, Nebraska's not going to rush it just for the sake of maybe adding a portal player or two. You want to be sure you have that position coach intact, hopefully for the long haul. But yeah, I think there's no doubt like that's become the glaring, obvious portal need for Nebraska at a position where it's about as hard as any to find a quality guy out of the portal.
If Nebraska, let's say, strikes out or only gets depth pieces on the defensive line, specifically defensive tackle, they walk into today with two of the three of Riley Van Poppel, Sua Lefotu, and Gabe Moore starting at defensive tackle. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, those would be guys in the mix. David Hofkin is someone else who they've liked and who's come along. Tyson Terry, people forget about him out of Omaha North. He was hurt all year, rehabbing from some surgery. He's got big time potential, I think, long term. So that's somebody else. Cam Lenhart, you could argue he could add a few pounds, from the position that he played this year. So they have guys, but I just think what you saw down the stretch with Penn State and Iowa and Utah, and you got to have some big guys in the middle. I think that's even more important in a four-man front where you just need some space eaters to gum up those rushing lanes, maybe take up a couple blockers that allow your edge guys to pressure the quarterback a little more. So Van Poppel could be that guy. I think maybe in a four-man front, he could even be more effective than he was this past season. So they have a few pieces, and they're going to add somebody just for depth purposes, if no other reason. But if they don't get that splash guy, then this becomes an off season where you really have to emphasize development from some of those next wave of guys if they're going to hold up to the rigors of the Big Ten.
We'll see if we get the hell on wheels quote from Matt Rule and Coach Matt right now that he's more familiar with that room, having coached them in bowl practice. Last thing then, Evan, you mentioned you expect the number of portal additions for Nebraska to double from the 7 reported they're at now to 14 or so, maybe a little bit over. Do you expect more of those additions to come on the offensive side, defensive side of the ball, or even maybe in the specialist room?
Well, I think they're going to have a long snapper that they've had a couple of guys, one who's come in, another who's coming in. They're sort of still waiting on a ruling from Kevin Gallick, who's been their long snapper this year, about whether he has another year of eligibility. So I think that's sort of slowing the process a little bit. But, I think you got to add a couple defensive linemen. Running back is an interesting one. They haven't really pursued, heavily a guy as a running back just yet. We'll see if that continues to be the case over the next week. I think you had probably another defensive back. Dale-Sean Staley is a guy who visited from San Diego State who's still out there. Maybe he pulls the trigger. And then you've got Gilmer from UCLA, Quasi Gilmer, who I think is a really impressive receiver. He's produced in 2 years with the Bruins. So you add him to that mix as well. And then another guy from UCLA, Anthony Jones, who's more of a defensive end type, looking for his 5th school in 5 years. So that would be kind of interesting too. So still kind of a mix. I think they've taken care of a lot of their big impact pieces, obviously quarterback and tackle and resetting the linebacker room. But yeah, I think you still have a lot of pieces to go before you start feeling like Nebraska could be a team that can push 7 or 8 wins next season, given the schedule that's ahead.
There you have it. Evan Blaine of the Omaha World Herald, our guest, joining us on stream. Evan, before too long, we got to start talking Husker baseball as well. Kind of crazy. I mean, MLB pitchers and catchers report in 33 days. It can't be any more than that for college baseball. It's within a month, right?
I think the new timeline, actually, they start practicing next week, which is kind of crazy. They could be out there today. It's 60 and sunny right now. So hopefully they're doing some informal stuff. It feels like Nebraska is an SEC school this week in January. They could host some home games at Haymarket. But yeah, they'll be getting rolling here pretty soon, and we can start chopping it up with that too. It'll be fun to see how they follow up on consecutive NCAA tournament appearances.
Nick Sainer and I were having some Husker baseball conversations this morning. So it's on our mind. It's front of mind, even with everything going on in the portal. Follow it all. Evan Blaine, WWH on Twitter, omaha.com for all that. Evan, appreciate you hopping on stream. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Austin. See ya.
That's Evan Blaine joining us again on stream via our Allo Fiber VIP line. We'll be back to Old School, wrap things up with Jay Foreman for hour 2 right after this.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to start strong, so you can give everything you've got. From plate-loaded strength equipment and functional training areas to treadmills, stair climbers, and free weights. Our equipment is best in class, and our clubs are right around the corner, so you can make this your strongest year yet. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 9th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big thanks to Evan Blade of the Omaha World Herald jumping on stream with us. Austin Norman here, Jay Foreman back as well. Big thanks to Love Volleyball Nebraska. Don't forget, we're just about 4 days away from their season opener, well, not season opener, their home opener, I should say, at Baxter Arena. They'll take on Love Volleyball Houston Sunday, January 11th at 3 p.m. Get your tickets online, lovb.com. Check out the promotional schedule, lovbneb.com. Jay, just a couple minutes here. Let's go to some text. Most of this regarding our John Harbaugh discussion, who could take over for him in Baltimore. David, who I'm not sure if you still owe a steak to or not, says you should take over.
I would like it. I like Maryland Blue Crabs. That would be my part of my pay.
Aaron says he could see Dallas making a call to John Harbaugh's agent to come take over.
No, I don't think he could. Jerry Jones can control him. Like Jerry Jones needs it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Needs a puppet.
Yep.
6169. What about Brian Flores in Baltimore?
That could work personality wise. Definitely would be defense oriented. So I definitely could see that.
3574. Ray Lewis.
In theory, not really.
But would he want to?
Yeah.
Mean Joe Green, Steve Spagnuolo.
I can see that working. Yeah, I can see it. And they've worked together before.
Mm-hmm. And then Thomas and Lincoln, can Carolina beat the Rams again? Well, Thomas, hold on. We'll talk plenty of NFL coming up in the second segment. Plenty of Huskers to get to. That's all ahead. Hour 3 of Old School brought to you by Graham Tire. They're more than just tires. They do all kinds of car and light truck repairs. For 75 years, they've done all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too, from brakes to oil changes. Trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. We got more Old School on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
An emergency can happen any moment. Here's a few seconds to think about where you'd go. At CHI Health, we stand ready to care for any emergency. Our specialists provide expert care when you need it most and believe healing is more powerful when delivered with human kindness. When seconds matter, know CHI Health St. Elizabeth is accredited in stroke care and offers the region's only ER just for kids. Learn more at chihealth.com/St. Elizabeth Emergency.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the number one fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air,
and electrical.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts, answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back, 5 o'clock hour. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, the New School Way. We are here at 1040 O Street, live in effect. Austin. It is now the time of the day on Hump Day that we use the portal to get us through this next hour before it starts to turn into darkness here. A lot going on in Nebraska over the last 24 hours, 48 hours. A lot going on in college football, of course, as what we talked about, in the first and second hour. But more importantly, when you look at Nebraska, look, I'm biased to linebackers. Yesterday was linebacker day.
It was linebacker day.
It was linebacker day.
Jay Foreman National Holiday.
Yeah, it's Jay Foreman National Holiday. It's you got my man, was it Owen Chambliss?
Owen Chambliss
from San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
You got my man Foster from
not Deshaun, but Dexter.
Dexter Foster from Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Hawthorne, who I think is more of a developmental developmental get. And obviously they had a good rapport with him and barely lost out on him to Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and watched his highlight tape, which obviously he didn't play this year or didn't play that much. And he's a heck of an athlete. He can run the rock and he can definitely bring the funk. He's a good instincts as far as linebacker goes. And
bring the funk. That's the technical term.
Yeah, well, it depends on the day. Bring the funk. Come with a little nastiness. So I think they did. I think they didn't have to tell you this year that they felt like they needed some more playmaking ability, maybe athletic ability at the second level. They felt, obviously, just going off what they've done, that they feel like they remedied that or potentially could remedy that based on some of the defensive letdowns late in the season, which gets all the attention. But you don't make moves like this, 3 guys in one day. And I know there's one connection with Coach Oric, and obviously we got McDougal, the safety as well. You don't make a move with 3 guys at that position, considering you have some issues at some other ones, if you didn't think that was a glaring weakness all year long. And the glaring weakness could be from athletic ability. It could be from execution. It could be from mindset. It could be from being all in and being all in about the team. Maybe a lack of investment in, from certain players there. Or you feel like, okay, Javen Rice graduating. We lost a lot with John Bullock the year before. Okay, we don't have, it's stair-stepped. And so then you go get some ready-made, people in obviously Foster and Chambliss, and obviously Hawthorne, he can work his way in there as well. The question I think is going to be, and I want the text line to text in, is how does, holdovers like Shavers, obviously Dawson Merritt for sure, Bauer, that's 6 right there if you count the 3 new ones and the 3 holdovers.
You brought up Christian Jones and Evan Bland did
Christian
430
Jones
as well.
So that he was a high 4-star and he pretty much 5-star recruit. He won the Buckus Award for a high school player. He went down to the Buckus Award ceremony and won that. And so you got 7 linebackers right there. And that's not even counting anybody that maybe I'd missed or who they potentially could move in there and how it all shakes out. Now, I think obviously everybody's looking at a 4-2-5, but you know what? You can run a 4-3, at times because I think that you can use Shavers on the field with the same 2 stack linebackers. I think you can have 2 stack linebackers and Dawson Merritt out there as a flex type of big hybrid type of linebacker because he's that athletic. I think he knows the game for freshman. He knows it pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see with Dvorak and Oric. Oric is obviously the D coordinator, but a linebacker coach by trade, or has a linebacker. Well, he played linebacker, coached linebackers as well, and obviously the D coordinator. Now, how that all shakes out is really, really interesting. Before we get into the text line, here's my little, breakdown of all 3, especially actually just the main 2. I did a video I'll be posting it on my YouTube channel, but as far as Owen Chambliss, right? He's 6'3", 230. over 100 tackles, 4 sacks, interception, and a forced fumble. Tall, lean, linear guy. Probably about 222, 220. Plays bigger than that when he wants to. His best attribute is this, and I like this for this defense. Is number one, when he comes to blitz, he sheds and releases blocks really, really good and makes plays. So he doesn't Velcro on blocks.
Doesn't allow himself to get blocked either.
Right.
Takes him on.
And he has he's savvy. He knows how to do it. He knows how to hand fight. He knows how to dip and rip. So he has some position flexibility as well. Plays the run decently well. He's more of an open side linebacker, so a weak side guy that's away from the formation. So if they have a pistol formation, running backs offset, and say they have an H-back and a tight end, which is a wing, he's on the opposite side. So more of like a running hitter.
More toward the one of a 3x1.
Exactly. And to diagnose it, he can do some things. He's long enough to get in some passing lanes. He kind of knows when to get in and out of the windows to kind of stop the progression of the quarterback. So he does that well. Probably like all these, like for him and Foster coming in, playing in the Mountain West and the Pac-12, it's a step up from a physicality standpoint. That's what spring ball is for, or actually that's what the weight room and winter conditioning for. That's what spring ball is for. Because you've never had to play it. I'm not going to fault you. I'm aware of where you came from in the league that you played in, but I'm not going to hold it against you.
Until you prove that I should.
Exactly.
Which is where I go back to what you said. Plays bigger than 222.
Yeah.
Followed immediately by when he wants to.
Yeah.
Both of those things are key.
I'd say when he has to. I think the want to, when I say, I want to take that back because I think sometimes when you say want to, he doesn't play hard.
Question the motor, which is not your question.
Yeah. When he has to, he can. He has to get better at it. But I think I know why they picked him up. I know he's a smart player. I could tell that by watching. He has control of himself. And, I watched, the last game was against North Texas. I'm sure he probably knew he wasn't important. So I understand. I've been there. It's kind of like playing the last preseason game in the pros. You already know you're on the team or something like that. Or a few times too many when I'm in Houston and I know he ain't in the playoffs and we played the Tennessee Titans. Hey, I'm trying to get to Cancun in one piece. And so for him, I can see why it looks, I think he's going to come right in and start. You don't pick him up as your first, actually after the offensive lineman Black, he's the next one. Then Brendan Black, then him, or maybe in the same day. You don't get him first without, he's going to have to work hard and all that, but that's the guy that's going to come in to start. And then when you think about Foster, he's a little bit different. Now, I think when I watched him, he plays more on the strong side, right?
Okay.
He's 6'3", 236. On tape, he looks a little bit more bulkier, right? He had like about 50 or 60 tackles, so you would have liked the activity to be up a little bit more. Now, you don't know whether the stats are for real because the 2 games I watched, he looked like he was pretty active. I watched the Texas Tech game. In the Oregon game, he started slow and finished strong.
2 good games to be active in.
Right, and you have to be active because you're getting off the bus outmanned. So you have to show up on tape. He made a couple big plays, which I broke down on the Black Shirt Breakdown on my YouTube channel. I think he plays the run pretty decent. I think he diagnoses plays pretty well. Both of them do a good job, I think. And especially Foster keeping his pad square, so it lets me know he'll stay alive. Does decently, he had one play that I broke down that he was in space where he kind of like trailed the blocker, and then he kind of made a play. So you got that. And I think Hawthorne is just all I've seen in high school. And then you mix that in with Shavers, which I think he has a ton of potential and is going to be the best man, the survival of the fittest. And then you got Dawson Merritt, who I was excited about, just need to get a little bit bigger and stronger. But I'm talking about as being able to be a knee bender and play bigger than you're actually, your body is right now as a true freshman. He did it. And he's probably has, out of all the guys in there, including the 4 holdovers and the 3 new guys, Dawson Merritt has the best closing ability. And that's the first thing I look for in a linebacker. Can you close?
Close the gap.
Close the
play. Finish the tackle.
When you come out of your break, how quick and how violent can you get there? And he still, to me, in my opinion, has the best closing speed. So look, they added some stuff there, and it'll be really, really interesting to see, along with the quarterback and the two offensive linemen. I think Black is obviously straight up starter. Look at this dude over your left shoulder.
I saw him earlier today.
Yeah, yeah.
Man had his mouth dug around
I
by
know.
a dentist all day
Yeah,
today.
he need to go lay down a little bit. I think Brendan Black will come in, and he'll be more than a formidable player. I think he gives you a little bit more athletic ability if you compare him to Rocco and Henry. He can pull and pin and pull, so I think it gives you some option in your run game with Justin Evans. And
did Nebraska try to do any of that pin and pull last year, or did they go away from it because they didn't think they could do it?
They did it at times, but I think he could really help in the screen game. So it's not just Justin
Which we
Evans.
know they like.
Yeah, right. So you got two guys that can do it, and then
Pritchett got out there on a couple of them.
Yeah,
Spring
so you
Hunter.
got Pritchett, and then you got big man Tree, who's more of a circumstantial starter, big man. I did see some highlights of him when he got in the game. Now they're highlights. The one thing I did like is he finished through the echo of the whistle a couple times, and he dump trucked a couple of the guys, and he gave them the business. So I think the attitude switch that we've desperately needed for a while could be in effect once they gel in continuity, and it's obviously going to be by Coach Wade, and so forth and so on. And now we go to the quarterback.
Here we go.
Austin, let me ask you this. After Minshew bounced to the 40-ounce, what of the three of it was it Aiden Childs? Who was the three that we got connected with right
after? It was Aiden Childs, DJ Lagway, and I think Pribula was the other one alongside Calandria. Yeah. I guess Lagway was the one they were working on but didn't have a visit lined up for yet. So probably Childs, Calandria, and Pribula.
So what are your thoughts on Calandria?
Good player. Certainly the Mountain West level good player. Turnovers at the Power 4 level concern me. Maybe he's cleaned it up a little bit because he was a freshman and a sophomore at Virginia.
Yeah.
Willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, the fact that the turnovers didn't go down at the lower, quote unquote level of the Mountain West, a little bit concerning. A fun player. Probably the best available for Nebraska. Not my favorite fit philosophically, big picture. Maybe he fits what Dana Holgerson wants to do.
Yeah.
I kind of see some John Mateer similarities in some ways, maybe not the same baseball, platform like Mateer got talked about a lot, but, gamer, dual threat, good enough arm can make it work. I, though, Jay, would have gone the direction of a multi-year guy, closer to TJ Lateef's age to compete. I know Minshew was older and only would have had those 2 years. But man, it just feels like a Band-Aid solution. And maybe that's all Nebraska thinks it needs. Maybe Nebraska thinks that, an extra year, like Evan Bland was saying, an extra year seasoning for TJ Lateef was always the plan. This buys us that extra year for TJ Lateef to be the starter in 27. Groom Trey Taylor to take over for him, whether that's in 27 after 27 and 28, or maybe, TJ Lateef has his 2 years, right? He starts in 27 and 28. And Trey Taylor doesn't start until he's a sophomore, redshirt sophomore at that point, which I think is fine because, Jay, we saw the stat when Adrian Martinez started at Nebraska game 1 for Scott Frost. He was the 4th freshman to start a season opener for Nebraska. Okay, I think that's what the stat was, right? 4th in 118 years, 119 years at that point. Well, since Adrian, you had, obviously Adrian, you had Dylan obviously come in. TJ Lateef was set to start, and let's say that he does, and then Trey Taylor. If that's your plan, is just go 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. After 3 freshmen that started the season opener for you in 118 years, you'd have 4 in 10 years, hypothetically. And I get it. Some of it's the day and age.
Yeah,
but
you got to play him early. I don't know if you got to turn the keys over to him.
Right. And so I think it would have been healthier for Nebraska to have someone compete with TJ Lateef, make sure he earns the job, which I'm sure they, think Calandria is doing. That's the Mountain West Player of the Year. Sure, he wasn't cheap. Sure, you got to pay him a pretty penny, probably more than TJ Lateef. I like Evan's analysis. He thinks TJ Lateef's not one to duck the competition, especially because no matter how winding the road was, still seems like he could be on that original timeline of getting him ready for 2027, another year in a system that should be more geared to his strengths. So I get why Nebraska did Calandria. I just don't know if it's the direction I would have gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point, I think you're trying to look for, I think all the skill set of the guys that they had in the last 4 nobody jumps off the I guess the map. I guess that he's like, all right, that guy's head and shoulders. I think all of them have weaknesses, right?
Mhm.
Like they do at this point. Everybody has weaknesses, and so I think or hoping that you go for the things that I think are more important than what we need right now, and that's leadership. Maybe guy has a little bit more energy and true, like, I don't know, investment, just one of the guys. You could tell he has a outgoing personality, a lot of confidence. I think he gained a lot of confidence down at UNLV. I think he's definitely can hurt you with the run, and I think he did a good job. I watched 4 games. He's done a good job, or did a good job of being strategic when he ran, sneaky fast, good athlete, physically tough, threw the ball into some tight spaces, but it's definitely a step up. And then where you have TJ Lateef, I don't think he's afraid of competition. I think that he still feels that he can beat him out. And I think Nebraska, if it comes obvious that the TJ is the better quarterback, TJ will start, and then obviously anybody else will come in, in the backup, or if it's vice versa. So I think right now he's probably what Nebraska needed. I don't think it's obviously really what they originally, obviously, because they thought Minchie was the guy who was a multi-year guy potentially. And he chose different. So now you got to go in there and decide where you're at, because you also have to make decisions with TJ Lateef in mind and potentially Trey Taylor in mind. Now, young guys' time frame of when they need to be on the field and have the keys to the castle is a lot different than the rational person, right? A lot of high school kids think they're going straight from 7-on-7 high school football to starting, and then you're just going to just dominate in college for 3 years, and you're going to be the number 1 pick. That's not how it works. You got to go through the grind. I mean, you look at it from Jalen Hurts. You're looking at it at Jackson Dart. You look at any quarterback. They don't necessarily end up or start or end where they started, and they have to go through trials and tribulations. If you want a really good example, Bo Nix started as a freshman, a coach's kid. So if there was anybody on paper that was ready to take over Auburn, and his dad played at Auburn.
Think so, yeah.
He did. He was number 10 too.
Yeah. Yep.
So anybody that you think that's ready to take on Auburn and lead them to the prom, it was Bo Nix. Came out like gangbusters as a freshman, struggled afterwards, had to reset and restart in a place in the United States that he probably never thought that he would play college football at, and it worked out for him like gangbusters, and he's leading the Denver Broncos. So that's the hard part right now, where you're trying to you got to be competitive now. But then you don't want to stymie anybody's progress, and it's so hard at quarterback because one guy plays.
You said the best available thing, and I think that makes sense. The best Nebraska could get. Dana Holgorsen said as much, and I think the last time we got to hear from him here in Lincoln, or maybe it was out at the bowl prep, who are you going to take at quarterback? What are you looking for? We take the best available. We'll work with them. We'll meld our system to them. Okay, I get it. I used to like that mindset, but at some point it's about identity, right? Identify your guy with your traits. And Jay, clearly Anthony Colandrea wasn't number 1 on Nebraska's board. Up there, but Kenny Minchie was number 1. Okay, and I got some pushback on Twitter on this, and I was just tweeting through it, just trying to make sense of what I think. And it's just funny to me that you can sign Anthony Colandrea within a day, but you had Kenny Minchie potentially silently committed over the weekend before he announced you didn't have time to get paperwork done? Is it as simple as you got Colandrea to campus and Minchie not? Why was your number 1 guy not worthy of the attention and being able to wrap it up, get it signed, locked down in one day like it was your second option? That's what doesn't make much sense to me, right? In Nebraska, it seems like maybe Minchie just had a change of heart, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that he did that on purpose. Maybe he held off on
change of check.
Well, that's my thing. But here's my thing. Maybe Kenny Minchie, that was his plan all along. Use Nebraska as leverage. We know they really like me. I'll say I'm committed to you, but then, okay, once I commit, that's going to get someone else to up their offer to pry me away. I'll slow play the paperwork, not sign it, say, oh, my agent's taking some time to look over it. We should be good, but
checks in the mail.
Right. Maybe that's what happened. In that case, it's not a good look for Kenny Minchie. Nebraska might have gotten played. The flip side of that is you can't tell me that for a fact that Kenny Minchie was just using Nebraska as leverage. He committed. It was out there. He verbally committed. You can't tell me there wasn't mutual interest. Clearly, Nebraska was interested in him. He, at least at some point, was interested in Nebraska. And I'm sorry, if this is your number one target in the transfer portal, if this is the guy that you want at quarterback, and you don't do 100% of the work to lock him down, it's weird, especially when within a day you sign your number 2.
Yeah.
And he's your number 2. Where was that effort to get your number 1 guy signed? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't think it was an effort thing. I think it was one of those things you just got played.
Well, you got played because you didn't force him to sign the paperwork.
Well, you can
left
try
the door
to force
open.
him, but I mean, if it's the guy you want and you just never, it's one of those things, man. These kids will switch up on you quick, and I don't think it was an effort like they were being lazy or something. I think they kind of took him at his word that he needed to sign it. Now look at hindsight.
Which, okay, I love in theory, but
Right.
you
But
think
then-
of the thing of the day and age. You got to play the game. I don't know if it's naive or arrogant to assume you had the kid in the bag until pen was to paper.
Yeah, that's hindsight is 2020. Because here I'll play the flip side with you. Say you send Minchie the paperwork, and then you tell him, "Hey, dude, until you sign it, I'm going to be bringing in every quarterback on the face of this earth." Well, then you probably lose him, Minchie. So it kind of goes both ways. And signing,
but you didn't bring in those other guys.
No, you didn't. I'm saying if you did, you could potentially lose them.
Right.
You just got played. Really, I don't know whether Kentucky gave more money.
Max Olson of The Athletic was saying Kentucky actually gave him less money than Nebraska was offering.
Then he boo-booed a fool then.
That's an indictment then on Nebraska's coaching, right?
I don't necessarily believe that.
If you're getting less money at a less prestigious football
what
institution.
person in their right mind that's never played in college would take less money to go to Kentucky?
Will Stein has put more quarterbacks in the NFL in the last 3 years than Matt Rule has.
Correct. Yeah, that's yeah.
That's why I say coach. I'm not saying it's the only factor.
But then I would ask you, who's the quarterback besides me? So I need to get paid.
Right, and there's less competition at Kentucky. I'm sure that's a part of it.
Sure.
But again, for less money, I don't know. Something's just fishy. But again, from Nebraska, this is your number 1 target, and you didn't keep applying pressure to lock him down.
Yeah. And maybe he didn't want to compete, because TJ Lateef is here, so it's not just a foregone conclusion. And we saw this at times with other quarterbacks in the program. They have a hard time dealing with competition.
It just really
maybe he didn't. And to be honest with you, if Calandria can keep his turnovers down, both fumbles and interceptions, and raise his level of play along with TJ Lateef, it could work out better for Nebraska in the immediate future and long term.
Yes.
Meaning that you're going to get a better version of TJ Lateef. You're going to get the best version of Calandria. And if whoever is out there is going to give you the better version in this system. You got 2 quarterbacks that can get you with the off schedule run, and both of them. Both of them have shown the potential to be passers. Obviously, Calandria has been way more experienced of playing. But that doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily just head and shoulders beat out TJ Lateef. And so the Minchie thing is just a lesson learned. It's no different than, Jed Fish in Washington with Williams. Yeah, you could have him sign. He'll still flip on you. So right now you just can't. If you did everything you did, you are under your power with the right intentions and did it right, that's more on them. Now you also have to make sure that next time you do it, you just be straight up. Hey, look, man, we got burnt one time. You remember the Minchie guy in Kentucky? Okay, you're our number 1 guy. Here's the contract. Until it gets signed, we're still going to be actively recruited, but you're still our number 1 guy. You got Mr. Cubbin here. He said there's conflicting reports. Okay, it's conflicting. Some are saying we matched or countered with more. Some reports say that we offered $1 million, Kentucky $2 million, and then we didn't counter. I think more is Kentucky overpaid, and it wasn't worth Nebraska to go do it. What people have been asking is don't ever overspend. And so Kentucky was willing to overspend. There's a ton of potential, and so we'll see. Now you got to compare what Kentucky paid him versus what you paid Calandria / Lateef.
Yeah.
So did you go 2 for 1 to get 1? As long as one comes out on top, then it's all good.
And that's the thing. I'm not so pro Kenny Minchie that I think Nebraska, missed the boat completely, right? I mean, he has a lot of proving to do. I'm not so anti-Anthony Calandria. They think this is a disaster for Nebraska. But it's just a weird vibe around it, Jay. We don't have the full story yet. There are maybe those conflicting reports. And just with the questions that we've been asking about the direction of the program and all that, just a weird vibe to have surrounding the number one most important, transfer portal target that you had. And my understanding is that Nebraska didn't get a chance to counter, or not a serious chance to counter Kentucky's offer, whatever it was. If Kenny Minchie is just a mercenary and was just coming to Nebraska for the money because it was the best offer, it wasn't, all in like he, said he wasn't, he committed, fine. Nebraska's probably better off without him. Like you said with DeMond Williams, right? If you don't want to be here, why should we want you? Why should we play you? And I completely agree on that. If he didn't want to be here, I just find it hard to believe that he didn't want to be here, given that he committed, and that Nebraska could have done more to make sure he wanted to play here by saying, hey, you signed. And then if he wants to leave, it's almost impossible. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're a big factor in there. I think Kentucky probably I do think they paid him a little bit more, but I think more importantly, he was guaranteed to start from day one. You got to think, this dude's been a backup for 3 years.
Yeah. Behind some good players, but still backup.
Yeah. So he wants to go somewhere and get paid. And that's the only reason that you take less, is they guarantee you to start. And there was no guarantee over TJ. So we'll see. I mean, it's tricky. I just think there's more. Kentucky gave some guarantees that Nebraska really couldn't, because you got a formidable opponent, or person you're going to compete against. So we shall see. Time will tell. Very shortly, you'll start to get some. Don't they always do like a photo thing, or like a social media thing when everybody's on campus, because they get together. So you got to make sure everybody's there. So we shall see where he's at. My advice to him, my brother, just get to work. All of you guys, just get to work. Just behind the scenes, just get to work. Hey, it has been done. I know we're running a little bit long. Listen, Miami beat a ton of ranked teams. Nobody expects them to do so. Every year, there's somebody that exceeds expectations. This could be your year. So anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call
John Henry's. 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and electrical.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
You're looking for a cast for today. We'll see mostly sunny skies, the light breeze, and very warm temps. The afternoon high near 64. Tonight, increasing cloud cover and light winds, low around 37. And tomorrow, rain likely throughout the day, be breezy and cool. The high near 42. I'm meteorologist Kyle Hucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, second segment? Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Moving right along, little college football playoffs. I can't believe that the game is tomorrow.
Shoot, man.
Just remember, just think about like when we were in like June or July, when we had the 100-day countdown to football, that quick. Once you get into football season, whether you're obviously coaching and playing, and obviously sometimes we talk about it, you're in it. Now, obviously, we do other things besides football. We do basketball and all this other stuff. And baseball, you and Nick do state baseball, cover the Husker baseball as well, volleyball. So we do it all. But football, obviously, is what moves the needle, the biggest needle in the state of Nebraska. And here we are down to the Final Four. And before we get to that, we'll get to a couple texts here. Unknown texter, 8324 says, Latif should be number one until competition proves otherwise. Commit to Teeth, bring in competition, next man up. I think Latif, right?
Latif, I assume. Yeah.
I like this text. Neil says Jay is right. That's right. I like that. Dave, my man Dave F says, get to the E9 text. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get to this text. Okay. We're in a group text. Nick Sainers trying to boo-hoo and ha-ha and say that he hadn't heard from me and all this other stuff. Well, you ain't been around, brother. That's your own fault. You know what I'm saying?
Nick, they're doing it again. They're attacking you. You can't defend yourself.
And then he's having some issues about,
99 problems and
how efficiently his house is running. I just say, man, sometimes you run your house, sometimes you run around it. Nothing wrong with it.
Just own it.
Yeah. But
Just
the
admit it.
E9 dudes they definitely are really good dudes. Big shout out to AD. I think he had a little bit of a health issue, but he's doing better now. Obviously, Dave is doing great. Always good to hear from Rafi and all those guys. So I got another unknown texter, 1001. Nebraska basketball has greatly exceeded expectations. Hopefully, Rule can pull the same rabbit out of the hat too. I mean, that's it. I mean, I think the expectations externally weren't the same ones that Fred and company had internally. They're just showing everybody what they already know and what they already knew. And for Nebraska, obviously with a very, very hard schedule coming down the pipe next year, is that schedule isn't going anywhere, right? So the schedule is the schedule. So you prepare accordingly, learn from some of the, I guess, mistakes of the past, and then you just, go about your work. And look, if you made some changes in the coaching staff, so everybody here is here with a clean slate. Even whether you're a new coach or a holdover, or obviously a present coach, no matter what position group you're coaching or part of the ball you control. Last year was last year. This year is this year, and you have to win. You have to produce. Your group has to play well. You have to coach well. You got to recruit well. You have to deal with the portal. You got to deal with all this nonsense. But at the end of the day, once you get done with this funny business of the portal, then you can really lock the doors and get down to work. Now, once that happens, whatever is in there, from the authority figures down to the players, has to change. You get what I mean? Or get better, however you want to dice it up. That's what happens. If there's one thing that these players can learn, new ones coming in, ones being held over, it be rational and realistic. Okay, where did we go wrong? Or what could have we done to maybe have our own internal player-led maturity, right? Because that's what's going to happen on the field. You guys are the coaches got to do their job. That's fine. But when you're out there in the thick of things, you got to figure it out, man. And so if you look at that and look at some of the things that we did well, that we need to do better, and some of the things we didn't do very good at all, that we need to get better than that, look at those, recognize those, work on those, but then also look at some of the things that maybe were distractions, right? Did we sacrifice enough for those distractions for them not to be? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the I guess the young person's answer or reply, because they love to debate. So I don't even know it's a reply. They'll just come back at you.
Retort.
Retort, because young people, they like to come back at you. Then next thing you know, you feel like you're guilty for actually holding them accountable and want the best for them.
Well, they come back at you just as you would say on GP.
Yeah.
Whether they mean to or not. It's
just to talk you down, and then you leave the conversation questioning everything you just did, and you did everything for the best of them.
They gaslight you. So
they will say, okay, how would that lead to wins and losses? More wins and losses. So that's the chicken and the egg and all that. Well, I would just say, okay, well, the fact that I'm asking those questions, or I guess asking you these questions, or this question, lets me know that it could have led to more loss. It could have led to some of those losses and could lead to more wins. Because if you leave no stone unturned, and you just get beat, then now you're in there like getting into mad scientist talking about, okay, are we blocking it the same? You get what I mean? So you do all that, and it's a new coaching staff, a new opportunity. So as long as they attack it along with the portal, they'll be all right.
Well, it eliminates the excuses, right? You said you never wanted to go face an opponent not at their best, right? Bring them at full strength.
Yeah.
Or, you never wanted to give less than 100% effort, because you could always have that, well, I didn't give 100%, and then it's the pain of discipline versus pain of regret, right? Eliminating distractions, like you've said all the time in football, there are no guarantees in football. But what it does guarantee that you'll be better as a player, you'll be better as a team, and you'll be more likely to win. You can't promise wins and losses. That's never been a thing in any sport. So how does it lead to more wins and losses? Because it's the right thing to do. And the more you do the right thing and keep stacking opportunities for you to do the right thing, the more the right thing is likely to happen.
Yeah, it's like this. I'll tell some of the basketball kids that I get to watch now and playing at different high schools or whatever, and some of the kids that live in other states and stuff. I was like, man, the best thing that you could do is show up to every practice and obviously training session with the right intention. So let's just go to the dictionary definition of intention: a thing intended, an aim, or a plan with the right intentions. I always tell them, like, when you play a sport, you're married to that sport. You're not married and you're in high school. So I don't know if can high school kids get married?
Is it an arranged marriage?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Khalil Amin was married. Yeah. He's not Muslim, but he was married. Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, arranged.
Well, I would say you're married to the sport. So whatever you put into it, you got to always be there. It's not going to always be fair or whatever. And I look at it like this is for intention. It says a person's plans, especially a man's, in respect to a marriage, and that's just intention. The healing process of a wound. You have to have the right intention to do that. Conceptions formed by directing the mind towards an object. The object is to take 3 steps forward because we have to go 3 steps forward because we only took 1 step forward this year. So we need to make up ground. So how do you make up? You got to sacrifice something. And then you got to really dive into it and become as one. Whether you want to look at Nebraska's basketball team that's exceeded expectations, I can almost guarantee, I can't speak for Fred, never will be, but if I get a chance to see him, I'll ask him, did you see a difference in the intention and to detail the intention that they showed up to practice? And I can almost guarantee he said yes.
Yeah.
And then he had intention and detailed in who he was recruiting. So he got to see, and we are seeing everything that he knew well before we saw him step on the court.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you change it.
Yeah.
Now, sure, you can go.
It didn't happen overnight.
No, it didn't. Listen, basketball's different now.
It is,
because I think basketball, you get Kevin Durant. Listen,
But has Nebraska had Kevin Durant?
No. But I'm saying you can change your trajectory of your basketball team for a season. Every Michael Beasley and Kevin Durant that comes along, you get right. Now, we don't have that. We don't do that. But I will say, like, the patience with basketball is a little bit different than with football. But Fred, it was year 4, I think it was, he went to the plan.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing the fruition in year 7.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying we need to wait. Now, year 4 for us, we got to be on and popping. And here's why I think you got to look at it. In your mind controls a lot of things. Ohio State just is going to lose about 15 guys to the pros.
Every year.
So they're not ready-made again. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Oregon might lose their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's the head of the snake.
On their tight end.
Yeah.
Probably a lineman or two.
Right. And some defensive guys,
Mm-hmm.
right? Corner. I know they got a really high-rated corner
yeah.
and the safety,
Yeah.
for sure. Linebacker as well. So as much as it looks like a daunting task, we control our destiny. But you can't control your destiny unless everybody's invested. That's the biggest lesson they need to learn from last year.
Well, part of controlling your destiny is realizing that it's outside of the 60 minutes on Saturdays. That's a part of it.
Yeah.
That's where you prove how in control you are. But controlling your own destiny is, what am I doing now?
Yeah. Well, you win your first 4 games of the season. Yeah, in January. January all the way through spring ball.
Mm-hmm.
The middle of the season is from the end of spring ball, which I call the celebration at the spring game. It's kind of like the cupcakes. And hey, look at us.
Ta-da.
Yeah, look, our arms are big and everything like that. It's summer through 2 days. And then you really be able to push and separate yourself how you go about your business during the season, the end of the season. So lesson learned, little philosophy. We're going to come back, quick segment. We'll do our picks for tomorrow night's game. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, even though we'll break it down a little bit more.
Even though Jay Foreman will be calling high school basketball tomorrow.
I am?
Yep.
Dang. I don't know about that.
Nick didn't tell you?
No, he did not.
Okay,
we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to recover from that
bombshell.
Yeah, that bombshell. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, will be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OakStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, real quick before we turn it over to Bill Mitchner and Lighthouse right there. The Beacon on a Wednesday, always bringing good stuff to our airways as well. I got a text in Nebraska at 17 years old or 18, you cannot get married. You need parents' consent. 19, you're good to go.
Okay.
Either way, you're married to the sport long before you got to college, and so you got to pour into it. Anyways, we got one last text here, Austin. It's actually a pretty good one, so I'll be a reader. It says, NIL was designed so that these kids could make money off themselves. It was never intended to turn into a bidding war amongst schools for potential players. There needs to be a base contract with earnings that is unanimous across the board for all players, universities, and then there needs to be contract bonuses for these kids. If you win 10 games, you get extra so many dollars. If you win the national championship, you get this, so forth and so on. That's actually a really good point. I think you need to have a rookie salary cap base and have some incentives in there, maybe based on wins. When you get into incentives, I will tell you this: the NFL just finished their season. If the season isn't going well, all of a sudden you're gonna stop getting the looks or the touches and plays, and so that will rub people wrong. Then they will be in the portal anyway. So it's hard.
Or we've seen too how many organizations on the cheaper end of things see you're getting close to an incentive and say, "Oh, sorry."
Remember we had the story about the Pirates a few years ago.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones with the redheaded quarterback Cooper Rush. He won games out. Now you don't need that extra $500,000. New England is notorious for it. Then we see it on the flip side. Tom Brady got, of all people, Antonio Brown another $1 million that last game. There's a funny story. Shannon Sharp just interviewed John Elway, and he talks about when he had $100,000 bonus and he missed it by like 5 yards. He needed 1,000. He was at 995. Said John Elway told me, he said, I don't care if you're within 200 yards. I'll get you that money. So I think they need to have base contracts. I think they need to blow it all up.
The other part of that incentive thing, is, contract bonuses for these kids if you win X number of games, so many dollars. Well, guess what? These schools do get the playoff bonuses.
Yeah.
The coaches get playoff bonuses. What would be interesting to me is what percentage of a roster gets that. Like Nebraska winning the crown last year, they got that guaranteed money.
Yeah.
It didn't go to the coaches. I don't know if Fred Hoiberg had any bonuses in his contract with that. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But I know he said all that money, I think, $350,000, $300,000, whatever it was, all went to Nebraska's players. Like, did Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary make the same amount as, Aaron Eulis and Henry Bird? Did they get more? I forget how that.
I think it probably was spread evenly, and that's what you want to do. You got kind of like a bowl game bonus or whatever, and no different than a playoff check. And when we made the playoffs, Doug Flutie was one of the highest paid players on our team, and he got the same playoff check I got. That's what that'd be the kind of, comparison. So the more the merrier. Anyways, appreciate you listening on this hump day. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. I just have been informed I will potentially might be calling basketball tomorrow, but
touch base with your play-by-play.
We're going to dive into them Canes against them Rebels. You know what I mean? Them Ducks against the Hoosiers. Hoosiers. Man, I don't ever want to hear that Hoosiers anymore. That was horrible when I was out there. Anyway, Jay Foreman, my main man, Austin Norman. Old school. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery,